That's bullshit.
Whoa. Is that really tweaking like that? Uh-oh. That was weird.
That's bullshit.
Did you guys see that? Did it flicker?
That's bullshit.
Halloween shit. Fucking spooky. Woo!
That's bullshit.
Hello, everybody. Yes, indeed. We're here. Hello. Hi, Sean. I hope you are. Well, I can't even get it right, and I'm not even going to do it because you know what? I don't smoke on my show. I do smoke, and I am not super high, but my back was killing me after last night's Halloween romp with my kid. I mean, it really was a lovely night here in Louisiana, but it was a fucking run to bring that kid. She's almost 10 now, so her legs are longer and she moves faster, and I'm expected to keep up. So yeah, I'm fucking regretted it this morning, and yeah. So look, I got nothing negative to say about anybody that smokes on any show anywhere. Got no problems with it. Some people don't like it, whatever. I got no problems with it. I just didn't do it on my old show with the audio, so I figured why do it on this one. But yeah, dude, very much so high. Let's go run through the people in the room real quick, and because I mean, well, fuck it, let's let y'all stack up. We'll talk about the good old supporters of this here bullshit podcast while you guys stack up. Any really great comments that step out to me really quickly? I think this one steps out to me really quickly. What's up, everyone? Says 4 S's. I've been listening to the old school bullshits off and on since Saturday on Spotify. Good stuff. Well, some of it's a little spicy. Some of it's a little bland. But I think if you do a takeaway after listening to the 50-something episodes, like, I don't know, most people said they listened to them like 5, 6, 7 times. The rewatch stat is really crazy. It's absolutely insane. And look, guys, honestly, I'm killing some time because my guest is not here yet. You guys ready? Yeah. Well, first of all, we were waiting on me, and I'm glad that I was late because it turns out I was already fucked off a time zone. We fucked off a time zone. So I really don't understand how the fuck that happened. I really don't understand it. Well, sorry. Let me remove that from the screen. There we go. I'll reshare it in a minute. But yeah, thank you for listening to the old episodes. I have been uploading new ones. I can address you on this stuff right now because we are running a little late. And if you don't mind, we can chat it up while you guys stack up the room. So what happened last month was my credit card renewed to a new expiration date. You know how the numbers stay the same, but the renewal date and the security code on the back was different. Well, I didn't think about all of my different things that went to that card because between the aquarium store and my personal life and everything, there's several cards. And so it lapsed. And when I went to upload the episode, it said it uploaded, but it never would register. So I thought it was a technical error. And I hit up the people over there at Libsyn, and I asked them all about, what was going on. Right. I was very nice though. I was very amicable. Right. And trying to win flies with honey and all that stuff. And look, it didn't work out too well. They told me that I had to wait until the renewal date to renew the card, and then I could upload, which I did. I uploaded it immediately because it was the renewal date, and changed the card over. Uploaded fucking like 1.5 gigs of podcasts, like 17 hours of podcast. Ran out of hosting space. Now we got to wait. Now today it refreshed again. So now we can upload more shit. So you'll have more bullshit, but they're the newer ones, right? Not the old ones, but they're the newer ones. But anybody that's listening, go ahead and check us out on any audio platform. Spotify. I love Spotify. I mean, I pay for Spotify for the family and stuff. So, I'm a Spotify fan. And then, I don't get paid from Spotify. I host my own podcast on our dollars that are paid for by the sponsors that I'm about to talk about. Okay. I don't really I want my stuff, our stuff. Why my stuff? Our stuff. I want our stuff, the stuff that me and the guests and you put down, to be on every platform that they can get it on. And I know some of the shows, if you host with one particular thing, yeah, Mike, you know, where's this guy? Well, it's okay, bro. It gives me time to talk about this shit, man. It gives me time to talk about this shit. He said he's glad it's winter hours, got me sleeping by 8 p.m. You don't still run cement, bro. You don't. And if you want to hear more about this amazing man, and go check out the second ever Off Topic Tuesday, where you can listen to this guy right here blow it up. I mean, he fucking knocks it out of the park. So, hey, Mike, thanks again for all of that. Big Antoine in the house, too. Fuck it. I'll just count down you guys now. You got 20 of you in here. Y'all want to hear me shut up now? Raven was the first one waiting in here like a good soldier, right? Raven, Louisiana, all the way. I don't know about Alexandria. It kind of sucks out there where you live, right? But or at least to me it does. I'm a city boy. I live in the country, but I'm still 20 minutes from a city, you know. Hey, who's next? Forward Motion. Love you. Always here, always moving forward. Ray Navedo. Navedo. I'm sorry to have butchered that real quick because I look too fast. Croft Adams. Love that name. 4 S's. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that comment again. Jeremy and Jeannie, I love you guys. You know it. Your show's coming up soon. Speaking of these people that are like family to me, you know who else is family to me that's all over social media is Earl Jones and Ren from Lone Star Reptiles. And we just talked today. And I'm opening my phone right now as we chat. And I'm going to tell you that they agreed to do a show on Friday, December 23rd. I was like, look, it's Christmas. If you could give me a gift, you'll be my family for Christmas. Okay. Now, look, Graham's setting up. So he's there. We're looking at his ass and his thighs. Out, right. So, look, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute since you put us on hold for a minute. All right. You can,
buddy.
Right. And get your shit set up, get your mood lighting, you know, whatever. Don't I'm putting you on until I know you're decent. Jim Rat. He wants to show off. You know he does. He wants to show off that leg press. All right, I'll be with you in a minute. Thanks, bro. All right, he's still here. He's just in the green room, they would call it in fucking YouTube land. All right, so back to it. Elite Exotics. Mike's Monitors was wondering where the fuck you were, right? So now he's here. Okay, Marissa, thank you for coming in. Who else is here? Eric's MORPH Factory. The man, the myth, the legend, Aaron Barbosa. Shoot, you want this guy to run your t-shirts? He's better than me. I haven't even talked shit about this t-shirt yet. Look, if this t-shirt would have went to Aaron, he would have already been like jumping around with the fucking shirt on with all kind of crazy colored backgrounds and stuff, saying smash that like. I agree. Smash that like. Thanks a lot, Aaron, for all your shit that you do. Your little girl is so cute, and your outfits that you guys wear with your different, you know, princess and all that shit. I love it. I wish my kid was into snakes like that. I have to like force her to wear that shit. All right. Let's see. Will, you were early. Damn, early show almost caught me slacking. I appreciate that you're here anyway, man. I mean, usually you're higher up in the chat than that, but it's okay. We don't hold it against you. Flawless. Thank you. Who else we got? I need a producer. You know, I'm not lucky like Keys to have a wonderful wife that wants or girlfriend, whatever. I'm sorry if I insult anybody with that. Partner. Have a partner that's helping me behind the scenes, because I got to be straight with you guys. This shit is kind of difficult sometimes. It's pretty unnerving. And it gets really out of hand. It really does. So at this point, let's move on. Flawless. High Desert, my man. Jeremy, those G-stripe puzzles here yet? Yeah, well, we heard he missed, so we got to talk about that. Let's see. No, I missed. I got 1 puzzle and 1 G-stripe. Well, fucking right. At least you know you don't have non-hets, right? You got 1 puzzle and 1 G-stripe. I have 1 clutch just dropped. And you know what, Jeremy? If you end up with luck anything like mine, bro, you should sell them to somebody, and then they will hatch the first one, and it will be a male. Right? It's like what's his face? Luca Brasi comes to you and he's like, I hope your first child is a masculine child. Right? And that's it right there, dude. When you sell that fucking snakes, when you're like, God damn it, I keep missing on these puzzle G-stripes, the guy you sell them to, the very first fucking egg that he hatches will be a male one of those. It happened to me with Axanthic G-stripes and Axanthic clowns. And I want to say Brandon Bokey did them both. Yeah, Brandon, you fucked me. You got the last word on that before getting out. Mad River, thanks for your support, bro. And your sponsorship's about to get yelled out here in just a second. Strange, another Alan Britton. Here we go. Recoil Reptiles, man. I love watching you build cages and stuff. This guy's got a great cage company, Recoil Reptiles. Go check it out. He is a competitor to my main sponsor, but fuck it, he might be closer to you. But Chris and I love everybody, so let's go with it, right? Let's see. Savage, I gotta stop saying I know I'm working on it. I'm working on dragging out my words more and going longer pauses instead of saying but it's not very obvious. Savage, not here. Fair enough. They just logged in on the computer. And that'd be the end of that. Real quick, sponsors, Reptiles to You. Go to it. Check it out. reptiles2you.com. Go into the account thing. There's the wrong. Fuck, this is aggravating. I'm going to stop focusing on it. Anyway, go to reptiles2you.com, Ball0922, BALL0922, and you will get 20% off your entire day's load 3 times before the end of the year. Go do it. All right. Reptiles from Morph Market. Go hit them up. Sadly, I don't have any mail waiting for me right now like I did most other shows, but I've been following in Antoine's wonderful footsteps with his 2-minute, I don't understand that, turnaround time. Check it out, right? Morph Market, you know it. C-SERPENTS, you know it. Just plug the recoil guy over him. Sorry, Chris, but you're the man. You've been sponsoring me forever, ever, and everybody knows who the fuck you are. Me, Exotics by Nature, I never plugged it on the last shit. So now that whoever that was, Will or whoever, that's been binging, Forward Motion or whoever it was that was binging that, 4S's, that's binging the episodes. Yes, indeed. I never plugged this company before. So please go check it out now. usarc.org. Be there for sure. What else can I say? They had some new stuff come up today in Massachusetts. I think that's what it was. Yep, that hit the alert. Bravo Zulu, thank you very much for your sponsorship. Jim with Ectothermic Dungeon, thank you very much for yours. Infinite Possible Pythons, you've been running with me for a while. Those other two are kind of new. John Woodruff, Mad River from the original first time of this YouTube show. Thank you, John. Reptile Collective, Savage, Shane Kelly from Small Town Exotics. I got your sign like absolutely in the waiting room. It's like fucking ready to roll. Just want to get it shipped out. And then there's Josh Strange. And thank you all for everything. I know I sent you a message this morning showing you that our numbers were going up and things were looking good. And that's thank you very much to Bob Vu, who is the most currently right now climbing to be the most watched episode with the least approval ratings. So guys, look, go over to the Babu episode and hit that thumbs up a little bit and get my approval rating up a little bit on that one, because I don't understand what the fuck happened on that one. I talked to Bob afterwards and we were very happy with what we put down. 2 hours of solid time. I don't know what the fuck happened, but then we chased it with Antoine. And of course, Tuesday with Adeline and Chris. So we made up for it, right? We got it. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you all. Alan, share the love, brother. Thank you. You are welcome, sir. I love what you do. I also love what Toad Ranch does. If any of you guys are looking at some cages and stuff I believe on the West Coast, check out Toad Ranch cages, because he's doing a lot with that high density polyethylene. I believe that Focus Cube that sponsors the other podcasts, several of the other podcasts, they're doing the similar thing, right? They're doing the similar thing. So let's get this guy on so I can listen to his accent and we can talk to him about his life, his times, and his experiences since being around the hobby as long as me. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Sean?
I'm doing very well, man. Doing
To be
very
on,
well.
man.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, I think our timeline got fucked up a little bit because the clock here in the UK a couple of nights ago. So that's why I thought I was, you were an hour early or whatnot.
I see.
I worked 12-hour night shifts, and a couple of nights ago I did 13 hours because the clocks went back. So I'm still fucking recovering from the
Okay, so you've had your daylight saving times, but I haven't had mine.
That's exactly
right.
Yeah.
Right? That's cool. That's crazy. That's weird. There you go. I mean, hey. So we're gonna definitely get to that. There's no doubt that Mike's Monitor said many blessings with your upcoming litigation. We're gonna talk a little bit on it. We're not gonna talk too much on it that he can't talk about because we don't want there to be any repercussions to litigation. Now, he and I have not had any time to prep for this. We haven't had any real pre-talk at all, other than the many years. So bring me back to your earlier days of being in the herp field, brother.
Oh, well, you're looking, I'm 38 years old now. And I think I was 7 years old when I got my first pet reptile. So that's, 31 years now. I've been keeping animals. I've never had a gap.
31 years. So 31 years is exactly how long I've been doing the aquarium and reptile trade as well. Pretty much about 30. So you got a little bit more on me actually, which is awesome. So
I was into reptiles and stuff before I was ever allowed to get one, and it got to like my 7th birthday, and there was a big pet shop a couple of hours drive away from here, and it was in Manchester, which is a little bit out from Liverpool anyway. My dad took me and said, pick what you want. And I could have picked anything, a big green iguana, whatever I wanted. This pet store was full of variety. Back in the day, you seem to get more variety than you do nowadays with imports and things like that. Some stuff did well, some stuff didn't. But I picked a little ocellated skink from Greece, and I had it for a couple of months. Didn't know what the fuck I was doing with it. And remember when you used to get the you'd have a thermostat attached to an incandescent light bulb and click on and off all day when it got too hot.
Oh, I got so aggravated, brother. I did the real old school thing that Mike's gonna shout out and say, I know exactly what you mean. Uncle Mike's gonna say, yeah, I could do that. Hooking up a dimmer switch to the light and finding that sweet spot. But wait. Let me tell you real quick. Here's one. The first reptile rack that we built was built out of 3/4 inch plywood. So, it was warped as fuck. We sealed it with this polyurethane that my aunt sold that they used to paint the hulls of ocean ships with. Okay. So we'd have to leave the fucking rack outside for like a month to air out before we could use it. It's horrible, bro. Okay, wait. So we would screw wooden slats on the back to stop the tubs from going all the way through the rack and spilling out the back, right? Yeah. So my cousin comes up with this brilliant idea. If we put a hole in the flat piece of wood and we make it big enough to where we can listen to this fire hazard. You think heat tape's scary. You could screw a Christmas bulb in through the fucking hole to where the outside Christmas light was on this side and the light bulb was on this side. Okay. And the light would shine to illuminate and heat the cage. Boom. That was the day. That was in like 1993 when we were racking snakes.
Yeah.
From Home Depot, right? And Walmart. Okay. Like there was no option for a snake rack at that point. I don't think. I think there was Freedom Breeder I don't even think Freedom Breeder they did. They just came out with snake tubs, I think, at that time. So to bring people back to that, it was absolutely nuts.
Those dark Freedom Breeders with the old red stainless steel painted shelving. I remember those.
That's really old. Yeah, that's extremely old. So shout out to TJW, who's probably coming along shortly if he's not in the chat already. I didn't see him. But yeah, I'm wearing his red today. He was on a few shows ago. But yeah, man, he's an old schooler too, and he was excited that you were coming on. So yeah, brother, the 90s. So were you very internet into it, Ben, back then?
Yeah, I mean, the UK thing wasn't really that big.
Yeah, y'all didn't have shit.
Yeah.
You had aquarium shops.
It was, you know, the reptile hobby was really always based around the United States. But what I used to do was I'd get copies of Reptiles magazine shipped to the UK. And then I'd look through all the adverts in the back. You'd get Pete Call, you know, Bob Applegate's adverts in there and stuff like that. And I'd stamped address envelopes.
SASC, bro. SA, fucking SE.
Yeah, and I'd send for price lists to me in the UK, even though I'd never have any chance of fucking getting any of that stuff. I just wanted to look through the lists, you know, those old school lists with, you know, Burmese pythons, high yellow, albinos, $10,000 or whatever, and you'd think
Jeff Ronnie's long boa list with the buy my video at the bottom of it, right? Because there was no poo-poo tube back then, you know.
Yeah, and these guys would they'd sell you the fucking dream, wouldn't they? You know, you could buy a pair of these animals, and then, you know, a couple of years later, you could be making $10,000 snakes. So that was always like, you can actually make a living out of this thing, you know. And then I remember when the Pie came along, and that kind of blew up, and Pete Cole obviously made fucking, I don't know, millions. He must have made close to.
Yeah, very many millions, but very many millions gone as well. You know, it's in one, it's out the other. But then again, it was also a time of snake breeders learning to live well beyond their means.
That's the thing. I mean, when you're a snake addict and you get this new morph, you're only going to go and buy other stuff with the profits anyway. So we're all collectors, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I love that that meme I saw a couple days ago with Gru from the Minion movies and stuff, you know, and it's him saying, you know, I want to buy another snake, right? And then he's like, I want to buy just one more snake. And then he's like, no more snakes. And then he's just like, but one more, but one more, right?
It never ends.
But yeah, it drives you nuts when you're just like, oh man, you know, I'm gonna make money next year, but this year I could use some more racks. You know, I mean, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So how did it grow from the one thing though for you? Did it ever get like, when did it get to be like multiples and like where I'm talking about, dude, I was already, I think I was maybe 16 and had a snake room, and my mom and I lived in a house together, you know, just us. We had a 3-bedroom house in one, and she was like, look, do whatever with your snakes in that bedroom, but I don't want to smell them and I don't want to see them, you know, and I don't want them getting out. And that was it. And she's just like, that's your hobby room for your snakes and stuff. And that's it. And I was like, wow, that made my whole life start. But how was yours?
I think my parents were the same way, because, you know, as long as I could keep it in my bedroom and it didn't bother anybody, I could do what I wanted. I bought a bunch of bearded dragons when I was maybe 16.
Shit, yeah.
They were expensive back then, especially in the
bearded dragons were bearded dragons, bro. Before they had these ball-shaped heads and these round fucking noses and shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, they look, in the States at least, dude. I don't know if you see them, but you
man,
compare them to like what Luke and them breed down in Florida. I mean, in Australia, down in Florida. Listen to me. Fucking who knows if Florida was drier, you know, at this point.
It's like a totally different animal now, isn't it? But I was breeding bearded dragons when I was 16 and selling the babies to pet shops, and I had different people coming to my house every day wanting to buy these fucking baby dragons, and my parents were just like, where are you getting all this fucking money from, you know? I was, you know, how prolific they are as breeders. I was getting, you know, multiple clutches every week, and the things were just going back out the door again. It was great. But as a young guy, you know, a lot of that started going on, you know, beer and drinking and taking girls out and.
Oh, sure. The normal pubescent bullshit, right?
Yeah.
The normal grow up bullshit. But at that point, you at least. What's that?
Doing dumb shit with money instead of investing it. And then I went on to university, and that cost.
I'm still doing that dumb shit with money, not investing it.
So
whatever, bro. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like, look at it. Like, I'm not going to say live for today and waste everything you have, right? Like, because I have stuff still. I'm not wasted away. But like me opening the fish store, bro, I'm not lying, dude. Like, yeah, it was a thing where, you know, you spend money for an investment, but it's not an investment, right? but it doesn't work out. And at the end of the day, it's like, dude, I'm gonna die, and none of that fucking money's coming with me. So I'm glad I lived an experience. Like, I'm not gonna look back on it and be like, oh, butthurt about it, you know?
The saddest thing is when you don't fucking try, and then it's the what if. So, you know, you enjoy it and you want to give it a shot.
Yeah, bro, I enjoy slamming doors. I just said that. I just slam my fingers in them every now and then, so it's kind of fucked, right? So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So yeah, it's hard being it was hard being young back then. Okay, so I just talked to Casey Lazick in messages where he declined an interview because he doesn't feel that he's an interview worthy person. Which
I love Casey.
You love Casey. And he doesn't think he's interview worthy. And he also has not done interviews where he's been asked many times. So at this point, it's kind of like a let him do it, right? But we did share a nice message path, right?
Yeah.
And that included him saying, I miss you from the days when before the ball pythons, right?
Yeah.
And so by that, I know why he's declining my show, because he thinks I'm the Sean that left in 2018.
Yeah.
He hasn't watched any of this new stuff, which is understandable. Although I did stress to him about Nick Mutton, and that was kind of up his alley, and it concerned his genre, right? And I'm trying to drag these dudes back in, and it's really difficult, Graham.
It's really hard to get some of these old school guys to come back out of the cave, you know?
It's not that. It's like, I don't know if they're scared that it'll be used against them, set against them. Like, oh, I can't believe you did Sean's show. But I mean, then they're not doing other shows. So it's not just me, right? Like, I know Casey's not just me, because he's both agreed and declined several, well, not agreed to go on, but like talked about it and then declined several different things when he thinks about it. But I mean, the man's got a past that's worthy of talking about. I mean, you know, he was a busted ass broke guy, and he invested everything into the stock market, and he hit huge on one thing, and it blew up for him and made him millions, and he invested that in the reptiles and then made more millions, right? So like, those kind of stories I think really need to be heard, and I think you and I especially would love to hear them.
Definitely. I think it's just a terrible shame when, you know, the younger versions of like yourself and myself can't hear somebody like Casey sit there on the channels that we have now and just fire that passion up in him, because, you know, although we didn't have YouTube and social media and shit like that back growing up, you know, you'd always pick up a magazine article and someone would be able to do that for you, or, you know, so, you know.
Look at, like, when I got injured, I could have died, right?
Yeah.
And I never did bullshit.
Yeah.
Never. Not saying somebody else would have come in and done the same thing. Maybe they would have. Maybe it would have been bigger, better. Who knows? Maybe it would have been even more ambassador. I don't know how to even say that. More friendly, right? To newcomers or whatever. Kind of. So yeah, I mean, at what point do you have to shake a motherfucker like Casey and say, bro, look, books burn. Nobody's buying them anymore.
Yeah.
This shit can be timeless if it gets traffic. What the fuck? Right? And that's what I told him. I said, Casey, this is not about you being on bullshit. This is about you being heard. And his response was, I appreciate you saying that. So good. Right. But I mean, like, I see these people, like, I have them in the chat right now. Lady Tiss, the Lady T, in fact, she runs a killer YouTube channel, and she's incredibly dedicated to it. And then, of course, Keys does the same thing. And these younger people I'm watching really push their hobby and their businesses far with YouTube channels with dedication. They want to still hear from these people. And I think that if we go too much further on, okay, you know, if we go too much further on, and you're absolutely welcome, because you deserve it. You know, Aaron, of course, fuck, he probably danced around for you 100 times, and I would too if I could dance. Well, I can dance. I got a trophy here from Herps to show it, but I can't really dance. That was, I think that was a pity trophy, bro. I don't think they were entertained by me just spinning wheelies around during the music. I don't think it was worth it.
I can't dance either, Sean, if it makes you feel better.
Well, yeah, that's it, man. I mean, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that brings back the history that you and I don't have. They're recorded. right? Because I can't have several people on here that I would like to have on here. Like I would like to look at Ben Rennick right now like I'm looking at you.
Sure.
I would love that moment. But the fact is that Ben did it and some ungodly fucking thing happened, and yet he's heard. And it's not the only place he's heard. He's got other recordings, other places. But I think to be heard in a respect of that, man, I'm that's why I wanted to do more with it, you know.
Absolutely.
So you were around for like we talked about the Alterna page privately,
Yeah.
right? So
that was like one of the first. That was one of the first dial-up websites where that was huge for me as a kid. And then you'd look at these, different mile marker snakes from different.
Just gray-banded king snakes. That's it. Just
I'm sat in England as a prepubescent kid, just dreaming about fucking going out to West Texas. I'm waiting for the Alterna to load up. It's taking fucking 30 minutes because it's dial-up,
Yeah, there's pictures that would load up on the gravel because them dudes would do like sick photos of their shit. They wouldn't just like, there wasn't no cell phone photos back then. These dudes were doing like serious shit.
Even now, the Alterna guys, is some of the best snake keepers that you'll ever meet or speak to, and the knowledge that's there. You speak to Roy Engeldorf out there in the Outback Hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
How many Alternas that guy's seen, or Joe Fawkes, or somebody like that?
Yeah, like my buddy King Smith, that'll be with me at the Reptile Expo. King has hunted Terralingua for like 40 some odd years consecutively, never missed a fucking year.
That's on my bucket list as well. To find some of those Bogotofus, the subox out there.
Oh yeah, subox, yeah. Rat just go to like the different area to like find out that you hunt this area for axanthics and this area for for hypos and this area for albinos, and like it's pretty cool to actually have that in America. That I think a lot of ball python people, it's Off Topic Tuesday. Listen up. There's there's a king snake in North America. A rat snake in North America in West Texas that has location based morphs. They're recessive mutations, but if you go to this area, you'll catch these. If you go to this area, you'll catch these. Catch these. It's fucking dope. It's fucking dope, and so many people don't realize that. And there's a very small and these guys that have hunted out there, Graham, the stories that they'll tell you. King and them were out there when a rain came once. I'm gonna get him on this show to talk about it. They came in and they had this rain, and the whole area they were in flash flooded, literally moving cars, flash flood, right? And they got their whole area got swept away. They got separated, him and his friend, and they went looking for each other. And one of them came across a van with an entire family in it that had died in the flood, right? And it was pinned up in like this river wash area, and he was just like, dude, you wouldn't even know that the rains were coming, and when they came so hard that the flash flood came and killed people. And you're like, whoa, or his story about them because they brought Tarahumara mountain king snakes into North America, him and his friends, on a drunken fucking journey, and that's ridiculous.
A lot of guys made that trip across the border illegally and picked up some stuff,
Oh yeah, everything there is here, and I was just talking to Nick Mutton privately about the two different races of anthills in North America. You got a Patterson and a Lazic, and Don and Casey, and that's it. And so like those were the two smuggled. I'm not saying they smuggled them, but those were the two smuggled lines. They bought them captive bred from Germany, and here you go. So for sure. So bring us into your specialization of a species. What did you end up honing into?
Well, I was big on lizards for years. Bearded dragons, iguanas, things like that, geckos. And then I got into ball pythons because the ball pythons were it, And I really got into ball pythons. I got some states from
I got into ball pythons. I really got into ball pythons. It's a two-stage thing, isn't it? It's I got a few. I had 21 tubs and then that went into 100, and then that went into 500, and that went in.
Well, what it was, I had a bunch of normals, and I advertised them for sale. These were like, and I had one ginormous female, and this guy who was local to me, who bred ball pythons, was desperate for this ginormous female because I didn't know the fucking value of them.
Volta, right?
And
Volta blood.
You know,
it was a
if it
fucking
was a big,
normal. It was a
big normal female was like it's worth its weight in fucking gold if someone was pastel to it. You know, when pastels were like $2,000 or something. So he wanted a big female. I took it up to him, and he had a room just racked out with all. He had like het clowns, the first ones in the UK, super pastels. I think he had het pieds because the visuals were too fucking expensive. You know, he had an albino as well. A lot of this stuff he'd gotten from the States. And it was just, wow. Okay, so there's all these different morphs of these things. And, you know, wherefore money. I wish I wasn't fucking selling these snakes now. But then I ended up buying stuff back from him, and he was doing imports from the States from Hank Reardon or Bob Clark.
Bob Clark, right. Yeah, Hank Reardon. I remember old Hank. Old Hank defended by Hank Reardon. I can't remember all his shit. I can't remember his shit, brother. I can't remember all Bob's bullshit fucking profiles. But I know one thing: when Hank Reardon and I had that big problem, Hank, one of Bob's ex-employees now, but one of Bob's employees fucking sent me a shot from his phone of Bob's computer with the Hank Reardon fucking thing logged in. And I was like, oh shit, there it went. I didn't share it because I didn't want to be part of that, but I'm not the only guy he sent that to. Thank fucking God. I'm not the only guy he sent that to. Bro, you know what I just dug the fuck up? Because Jeff can't let go. Look at this shit.
Wow.
He still has this hosted. The Alterna page is still up.
He does, yeah. He does.
.com/Alterna/. If you go to the image gallery, you can look by location. Let's look at what do I love? Hudspeth's got some pretty sexy shit. Dan Johnson hunted that. Look at that.
Look at that friggin' thing.
Look at that fucking snake, dude. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, me and you could just go through this and bore these motherfuckers to death.
Can you imagine finding that friggin' thing in the middle of the night on a road cut?
Yeah, and these are all different, but these are from that location. But now look, this is from the Waco Mountains. This is one of my favorite localities of Alterna. It's absolutely spectacular. You audio listeners, when you're done with this, go to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe, the like, and the notification bell, just like you fuckers listening to this YouTube channel. Do it all. Because this is awesome stuff that you're not going to hear on any other podcast around. And I'm not being mean. I'm just sharing what I've lived through my whole fucking life with my man here who's lived through it with me his whole fucking life. Actually, a couple years more than me. So, yeah, Hudspeth. You can go to all of these different counties and you can look by look at this shit. Alpine, Christmas Mountains. Here you go. I wish King was a photographer, but you know who King used to go with, huh? Craig Hodgson. You see all these Craig Hodgsons. This is all of Craig's pictures right here. This was King's hunting partner. And Craig always took the photos. Look at that black one. Dude, that thing is insane. I mean, just to go through these pictures and look, Troy Hibbets. Look at these snakes. Wow. And we used to dig. This is the shit we used to look through, guys. This is me and this guy when we were 15, 17 years old, digging through this stuff. Black caps, boy. You know, Dan Johnson pulled the azanthic anerythristic from Black Gap. Yeah. It's not related to it, but yeah, he did. He pulled a hypo from Black Gap. They found an albino, but after, of course, homeboy ruined it, you know. But anyway, that's that. But yeah, trip down memory lane right there. Jeff can't let go, and apparently me and you can't either. So, yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. The whole Back Rack podcast, Jessica Hale in the house with the officially best comment of the evening, officially wet over here, she says, after looking at our Alterna page throwback. And you know what I told this young lady today? That she needs to refer to her and her partner as the most cunning linguistics of the podcasting community, right? Because they are always saying catchy, smart ass shit, and they can get away with it because they're chicks. Like this comment right here, you know, like if I would have posted this in place of a girl sitting next to me, I'd get a lawsuit. But she can write that kind of stuff. So thank you very much. And then Raven can write this kind of stuff. I want all of your balls. That's pretty rough. You don't want all my balls. My balls are bad. My balls are crusty and old, and the jeans are worn the fuck out. My jeans balls are worn out. So on that note, man, can you believe that he has that up still? Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
That's a throwback right there. I got to turn it off or else I'm going to keep talking about it.
I'm going to check that out later.
Yeah, right. Look at that. Right. Like, there it is. There it is. Right. We could have gone to OnlyFans, but instead we went to the alternative page. But I'm bummed. Right. Okay. So lizards, what your bearded dragons, what was your other? You had to have another lizard fantasy than just beardies. That had to graduate, right? What did it go?
Oh, lizards was a keeper.
We got Mike's monitors in the house, you know, since we got old Mike in the house.
Talk about a character. Mike is a fucking dude, man.
Dude, he's got so much energy. And look, I'm going to have to remember this early podcast thing gets Mike like all fired up.
He's infectious. He's
all, go, Mike. But yeah, he's.
If listening to Mike doesn't make you want to get some monitors or some Kimberly Rock monitors or something, then.
Yeah, that episode fucked me over. Thankfully, I'm broke. Thankfully, I'm broke, and he didn't offer me a monitor for a sponsorship, and I'm not asking because I don't want to feed it. Right? I'm not broke, but I want to keep feeding what I got. Like you saw on the Facebook post with me fucking with the Lewiside iguanas, right?
Yeah.
Because they're growing up now and they're getting bigger now and they're getting to that age when they could really fuck you up if they wanted to, but they don't. So it's like an admission of, hey man, you're cool. Let's be cool together. And that is a new thing to me. I like that.
When you've got one of those dog-tamed big rock iguanas, that is just fucking incredible. I wish
we had a big rhino, like a 5-foot rhino.
Yeah.
And he used to come when you called him and shit. And he had this infection and we couldn't get a hold of him. That's it.
I went to the Dominican Republic maybe 10, 15 years ago, and there was this one big rhino iguana just walking around the hotel.
Wow, that's got to be an experience.
Yeah, it just come up and like you stroke its fucking big jowls, and it was like a.
Oh, it was friendly then.
Yeah, you'd get a banana from the breakfast and just throw it on the floor. It'd come up and snap it right up.
Yeah, they are like dogs, and that's when I met. But the Bods don't ever. I don't know. You guys get tired of me chanting our story together. They were ball python hardcore, and they saw that I was in Florida for Iguana Fest, but they didn't know why I was in Florida when I landed or whatever. I did a live feed, and they were like, "Why are you in Florida? There's no shows going on, is there? We'll go to it if there's a show." And I was like, "Well, no, it's Iguana Fest at Ty's place. Let's come on down and let's do it." And they came, and while they were there, one of my other friends was operating like a petting cage for rhino iguanas for everybody visiting the show. And they got to really bond with this rhino iguana at Iguana Fest. And now they are breeding fucking cyclorids, and they hatched their first clutch this year. So look how infectious this is, It's just so infectious. I mean, I hate to say that it's, Quirky said, I just got caught up, and let's talk about those albino GBKs. So that was Steve and Karen Osborne from Professional Breeders, which this man must know because they had the prettiest full color brochure when we were kids that they sent out. They had that bright blue one that we'll bring up on the air here soon. And the albino gray band that was caught, I believe, I don't know what happened with it. I heard there was one. I could be even wrong about that. But the original albino gray bands were crossed up from the albino Carataro. And that's another snake that faded away in morphology, right? Can you even get a pure albino Carataro king snake? Nope. Like a pure albino Nelsons now with all these people saying albino Sinaloans and all this shit. Like really, in my day, we could, and we had breeders responsible enough. I hope that genetic testing can blow up and do in the ball python game, not do it in like kill it, but do it in like take care of it, right? Like figure it out and then move on to other species that are less profitable, that we can do things like this and we can research comments like Quirky has here, because the albino GBK, we've got a lot of concerns now because a buddy of mine and I are investing back in Brazilian rainbow boas, and it's like, whoa, albino Brazilians, huh? I know the history of hypo. I know the history of Anaerythristic in Brian Sharp's collection. I know the history of those two. I don't know shit about Ian Miodowski's albino when then the fucking other dude had the albino Colombian and then another dude caught an albino Argentine one. What the fuck? So how do you feel about genetic testing? You think it's the future? You think it's the end? You think it's a solution if they do it right? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's only going to help, you know. I mean, talking about rainbow boas, I've got the, I think it was written by a German guy. I've got the rainbow boa book, the Chimera one there. And even in that book.
Oh, shit, I need it, but woo, I'm embarrassed I don't have it.
The crossing Argentines with Brazilians and they're showing you that, you know, what the babies look like in there. So there's mixed blood out there, you know. So it's just where who's been doing it right and who's been doing it wrong. Who's the other guy? The guy
Bill
with
Lamar. Bill Lamar did all that.
There's another guy. I've forgotten his friggin' name now. He's over there in the States.
You're talking about a big Brazilian breeder, Dave Collin, Rainbows R Us.
Dave Collin,
and Dave bought some of the very first Brazilians from us. That was really nice. It's so man. I think I don't know if he still has on his website where he credits us for bloodlines for his original hypo stuff that came from us. They came from the East Bay Vivarium line. You know, because Celia used to work there. So
some of the genes he's got, those new things that popped up, they're incredible looking things.
Well, he's been working at Candy Stripe for about 10 fucking years.
That thing,
10, 12 years. So, I mean, he's put the work in and I don't know what the hell the price looks like now on Candy Stripes, but my buddy's doing all the research because I was like, look, dude, I got a lot going on. We've got I've got a whole group of mature adult female Brazilians here with no males.
Yeah.
So he befriended another Brazilian guy. I think his name's Art. That does albinos and stuff. There's another Brazilian guy that's smaller time than Dave that does the albinos and stuff like that. And I talked to him about them, and it was really eye-opening to discuss it with them. And, you know, I hope the genetic testing can keep stuff like that clean, you know, and then the albino Surinames came in, same fucking fate, right? Oh, albino Colombians had already been mixed with a Suriname and made 50% this and that. It's the retic thing before the retic thing because they are all retics, right? We discussed that, you know. So genetic testing is gonna maybe help us, dude.
I'm not the biggest anti-hybrid guy. I mean, you know, we're all keeping in captivity, but what does piss me off is when pure stuff is no longer available. You know, so there's no so purists like. I am a purist. You can't buy something where you know it's got, you know, proven heritage, lineage, whatever, and you know exactly where it, you know, what it is.
Yeah, I think you're right there. You didn't get to see some of those horror fests that I did see in the 90s when you and I were collecting price lists.
Yeah.
Some of those hybrid price lists, you know, where you could, one guy had one where you could check them off. You could check off. I mean, he lasted one Daytona show, one Orlando show. You know, I mean, he never came back. I never saw the guy again. He had a price list with check boxes on it, and you could check off what species you wanted. Like you can pick 3. And I'm like, how can you do that? And he's like, well, I got crosses of all these ones. So then I just cross the one with the one. And I'm like, oh, okay. You're a fucking like at least Kevin was doing fucking insane shit, right? Like Warma ball pythons and shit. And you're looking at it, you're like, what Mars planet did this fucking thing come from? You know, or what like Carpondros, right? And anybody that knows anything about anything Indo-Python looks at it and they're like, what the fuck did you do? Where did you send? It's like if Stranger Things had a fucking portal you could pull a green tree through or some shit, it would be some twisted ass chimera of a thing like a Carpondro. But what happens when the Carpondro is bred back to a chondro a few times and it makes an insane looking chondro and some dude gives it a name, right? Because we know how chondros work. Do we know how chondros work, folks? No, we don't, do we? Man, did you ever follow that? I'm sorry. Wait, let me rephrase. Did you ever fall into that?
Into chondros? No.
Into the name game, money game of chondros, the Greg Maxwell, the book, the computer the named shit game, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's shit, right? It's selective breeding.
Yeah.
Okay,
What-
it's selective breeding.
What I will say about Greg Maxwell's book is it's got nice pictures in it.
It does have wonderful pictures in it. I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's a steering wheel with great pictures attached to it.
I think the husbandry advice and stuff like that is just completely the opposite of what a chondro keeper should be doing.
Right. And you don't even have to say that quietly. He's not going to hear you. I'm sure somebody will tell him. Somebody will hate us for saying it. I'm going to give him accolades like Trooper Walsh for being a pioneer. I mean, you get my accolades for being a pioneer, but the book itself I thought was off base. However, I do have a stack of his cage design next door, and for a 3 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot design, it's pretty good. You know, it's not bad. I like
cages, definitely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that the sexing thing. What do you think about that? Like, yeah, I guess that falls in.
I think.
Did you ever fuck with it?
People who tell you can't sex a chondro are full of shit. They're just too fucking heavy-handed or whatever. If you do it gently,
heavy-handed, or it's a ploy.
Well, I think it's a ploy a lot of the time.
They've sexed them already.
Yeah.
They know what they're going to keep.
If
they
you
put up the unsexed yellow chance that you buy it, right?
Yeah. You can sex a yellow neochondro right out of the egg by shining a light through its tail.
That's true. A yellow one.
Yeah.
A yellow one. Right. Now, but I would say not right out of the egg. I would say a month old.
Yeah.
That I could responsibly sex a neonate chondro because I can do 1,000 corn snakes and not damage one.
Definitely. And baby carpet pythons, there's no fucking difference. You just got to be a little bit gentle because they're smaller.
Dude, we sex the fucking baby anthill pythons by popping them.
Yeah.
Dude, they're fucking this long.
Tiny.
Speaking of, booked Colin today for the 15th. Actually, it's a weird show, bro. It's going to be on the 14th on a Monday for us in the US, and for you, it'll be late at night like this.
Yeah.
And then for him, it'll be Australian Tuesday. So it's going to be, you know, off topic Tuesday on Monday here and Tuesday there. And we're going to talk about Antaresia. We're going to just talk about ants. Colin Schumark is his name. He catches Australian stuff too. You know, he's an Australian snake catcher. So he's like a nuisance catcher. So we're going to talk all about those kind of things. And, you know, we've traded quite a few little stories about Antaresias and babies and difficulties and things like that. It's crazy. So when you have a book like that flies on, do you think it would be something? I don't know. How would you relate that to the future hobbyists though? I mean, I guess the book's not going to stick around. I guess we could say that the book's going to end up just evaporating like most books.
Justin and Terry Phillip did a chondro book a couple of years ago. It wasn't
Who was that?
Justin Julander and Terry.
Julander did one?
You know Terry Phillip from the Reptile Gardens, South Dakota.
Okay.
Oh,
is that an Eco book? Did Eco produce that?
No. This is, I think they paid to get it published themselves between the two.
Okay.
And the advice in there is fucking fantastic. It's like, it's basically should be the chondro Bible, basically. But okay, the pictures and stuff in there aren't as pretty as Maxwell's book, and it's not finished nicely like an Eco book or anything like that.
Oh, that's true. Maxwell's book's an Eco. That's right. More complete chondro. Yeah, it wouldn't be an Eco book because of that. Right.
But the literature in there and you know, the husbandry information is fucking like gold.
Would you like to see Justin on the show?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you had Nick on.
Reach out.
Justin on, yeah.
I'll reach out. I mean, I talked about him. We talked about him a lot on Nick's show, on Nick Munch's show. But I'd like to reach out to him.
Two great guys, fountains of knowledge, you know.
Yeah, you know, I was just kind of looking to hit on Lassick. I don't think I can get Don Patterson. I mean, I don't know anybody that knows Don very well. I mean, I do know people that know Don, but they're out of the business now, you know.
You could get Bob Applegate, I reckon.
Yeah, Bob and I have bad history. I'm not too supportive just because he sleazed on women too much around me, bro, and I don't really appreciate that shit.
Yeah.
Not publicly. If you're gonna do that kind of shit, do it privately. But that's it. Like, but he's a great. I mean, fountain of knowledge and a pioneer. It's the same. You know, I can always say that pioneer. You know, part I can.
It's tough to get these old school guys on. I mean, I've tried to get Dave and Tracy to do a podcast.
Yeah, I would like to get them, regardless of what she needs me to do to get them. Even if you know them in any respect, if they've worked with you at all, please reach out and tell them that Sean's got his shit together and it's coming out real good, because that can really help. You know, any of you guys, if you know any celeb breeders or non-celeb breeders that won't come on the show or any show for any reason, please just kind of drag them fuckers over here and be like, dude, he doesn't even say fuck that much anymore. I just wish he'd stop interrupting so much. Right? Like if he could just not interrupt as much as he doesn't say fuck anymore, we don't mind the fucks. We just rather the other way. I'm trying, bro. Trying, but we got a lot to say, man. We've been around. Summing up 30 fucking years in 2 hours is not easy.
Definitely not.
You know? So get on to me to the current day. You rolled into blood pythons, didn't you?
Blood pythons, yeah. I mean, they're still a species that I absolutely fucking adore.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I got back into them. I sold my whole goddamn collection.
I've got some nice stuff too, man. I think it was VPI that got me into blood pythons, and it was Pro Exotics' first page, if you remember that, when they had the different sections for the Borneos, the Sumatrans, and the Bloods, and it was just like, these things are like a ball python, but they're fucking bigger. They've got a big bulldog head on them. They look
and then they just had such a bad rep, dude.
Yeah,
like you remember that '90s rep? You remember that shit, bro? It was bad.
I think the '90s rap was kind of like, you know, people got wild caughts in and they were fucking nuts, you know, because
they were nuts.
A wild caught blood python is one defensive snake, you know.
The red bloods.
Yeah.
Red bloods.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Bronger's my. We're not talking about Curtis or Brittenstein as much.
Bronger's my, yeah.
I mean, I remember being in an importer's place. I remember being in an importer's place, and a 5-foot wild caught red blood got loose and was jammed between a wall of cages and the wall. It had jammed itself in there, and it was hissing. It sounded like a fucking dragon, right? I mean, it sounded like a fucking in that corner. Right? Like you put somebody hissing like that in a corner, it's like putting a gopher snake in that corner and just jabbing it and pissing it off, right? Fucking that gopher snake's lung fills up and it and fucking you were expecting a fire to come out, right? This thing's jammed in there, and every one of the guys that works at the import house, dude, they're pulling out retics, they're pulling out crocodile monitors, okay? Adults, imported. They're arguing over who's going to fucking get that blood python out of that crap. They are like, I'm not doing it, bro. I'm not fucking doing it, dude. I did the last thing that was fucked up, and that's it. And they're like, fight. And I'm like, what's so bad about this? And the funny thing is I fucked with it, and it didn't bite me.
Yeah.
And I try to understand why. And then that's when I learned how to handle a blood python. And how it's completely different than handling any other snake that I've ever handled. So I do adore them too. I wish people adored them as much as they did. I think that Borneo's had a pretty good run with Dave and Tracy there with the ultra brights and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know? But
there's some crazy looking Borneos out there now. Matt Minatola, Philly Herp. What he's done with Gene of Borneos. He's like he's made a totally freckled out fucking.
Without crossing it up, it's all pure.
He's just line bred marbles to marbles, and the best ones. And oh man, you want to see them? It's just but the market in the UK, what I will say, sucks for blood pythons. Nobody really wants to buy them. You know, you can't give them away, which I wouldn't fucking do anyway. But you know, the market's not the biggest in the US, but it's certainly not the biggest over here in the UK. And now,
I find there's definite issues there. You know, so
people still think it's a psychotic snake. People think it's going to bite the shit out of them. Or people with 200 ball pythons will try a couple of blood pythons, right? And then they'll sit in a rack and they'll never handle them. And then every time they do go into handling, it's going to bite the snot out of them or hiss or whatever. So
shit all over them, right?
Their opinion is these things are fucking psycho, that they can't be tamed or whatever, when they just haven't put the time and effort into working with them. And then they become afraid of it, and then they never want to handle it. And then they pass this problem snake onto somebody else.
Right.
I think, people fuck them up. Don't keep them right, keep them too hot, keep them too wet.
Right. Yeah, I kept mine pretty easily. But I mean, then again, I bred diamond pythons in the same climate as ball pythons. Never ever
Yeah.
fool them. I don't necessarily think that this, environmental cue has to be that strong. I think that if you live in a place like I do, I don't know how it is where you are in the UK.
Yeah.
But if you live in the South, in a tropical zone, right? Like Florida, shit like that, I think you really can see it. So Quirky asked Sean, where you can't pop chondros come from? That came from the Greg Maxwell, A Complete Chondro book. I'm not sure about the more complete book. I don't know what that was like. I didn't read it after reading the first one. Have you tried Ryan Young? I'm not sure what we were talking about there. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge you. But yeah, bloods. How many did you have for a not so hot in the UK snake?
Well, I think with babies and stuff, a couple of years ago, I was looking at up to 100 animals. That's with baby adults.
Wow.
And a bunch of stuff,
Yeah, that was you were the blood man of the UK.
Well, I was trying to be,
You would have been. Right.
I did some things. I did the world's first super stripe batiks, where I combined one of those, fat striped, perfectly striped blood pythons with the batik, because I wanted to see what that stripe down the back would do with a freckled snake. And it turns out, like, put the freckles into rows of stripes, which looked fucking cool as shit, And then I got a snake from a friend in Denmark, which hatched out with black eyes. It was a matrix, but matrix bloods have got quite light eyes. This
like
one,
an eclipse leopard gecko with a solid eye.
Yeah. Solid eyes. So I got that snake from him, bred it to a couple of months, and I hatched black eyes in the first clutch with no matrix. So I separated that gene. The black eye was separate from the original.
That's still in circulation?
Yeah, still out there.
Okay, good.
Some of those got exported with my stuff that,
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we're getting there. It's kind of a segue. You can go into it whenever you want.
And then in the second clutch, I got black eye matrices again and a couple of black eyes. So I think it's at least a dominant trait. It could be an incomplete dominance. I know the pied blood has got jet black eyes, which is quite neat looking. I don't know what the heck's look.
That fucking snake, huh?
Yeah.
I hope the heads look fucking weird, because if they look like normals, it ain't gonna prove out.
Well, the pied is recessive. So we've been told it's recessive, but is there a visual head? So
yeah, well, that's the thing. If you listen to that, you listen to Nick Mutton episode? I know you did.
Yeah.
Where we talked about piebalds. Are any of them not visual in the head? I don't think so. I think all of them are.
I think it's an incomplete dominant thing.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Mike from Mike's Monitors, I want to tell you this, Graham. I have an admission to make. I think I locked down a pair of those crazy hypo centralians that he hatched that we talked about on the Big Mutton show. I had the stonewashed ones. I think I locked down a pair of those. So, Mike, you never know. I might be getting a monitor soon. Since that was episode 1, and then you're episode 2, and then Jake with Retix is episode 3. I might be properly fucked here, bro, with all my off-topic Tuesday addictions coming back. I'm gonna have Jessica and at least Jessica and I are already corn snake addicts. So when Jessica did a show, I wasn't like fucking, and I can't draw for shit. So Adeline has nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So let's talk about what happened. What had happened exactly? Because you know what? I was fuzzy on the story myself, because I don't like to read into things like that, because they make me angry and end up saying shit that I regret, or I end up saying something that causes a thread to tear off, and it's not good. So
this is going to take you back personally, Sean. Anyway, this is going to take you back, because I asked for your advice on this maybe 4 fucking years ago.
Did I give it to you?
Yeah, you passed me on to Gabe. Gabe Murphy.
Right.
I said to you, have you ever done a business plan for a commercial reptile breeding facility? Right. And you passed me on to Gabe and said no. He might have done no. So I got in touch with Gabe.
I mean, a 15-year-old kid, but it was still a business plan, right? Sure. Like he still did it.
Because this was in the works back then. I mean, I'd already met this guy in Hot Springs, Arkansas, through Randall Berry, who wanted to get me out there and be part of this zoo enterprise.
Okay, so touch real quick. Randall Berry goes also way back in American herpetoculture at this point. He's kind of been a mediator and a side man and a showman and a helper man and all kind of mans. I hate to say this about Randall, but he's kind of been a jack of all trades, as you know, a master of none. But as I heard on an Instagram reel the other day, the real saying goes, a jack of all trades is but a master of none is better than a master of one. Right. And it was very true. So, yeah, I hate to say jack of all trades, master of none, make that sound like an insult, but it's not an insult. But he was very much like venomous and wild stuff and shows and like everything. So Randall Berry, a very credible, this is why I'm trying to frame it up, because you mentioned in my name, a very credible person to introduce you to an intermediary party. Right. So, so you guys hooked up, and what happened with that?
I got out there to Hot Springs, Arkansas. We did like it was like an investor presentation to the town. We got like rhino vipers out. We were handling them and like, you know, saying we're going to build this zoo. We had uniforms made. The land was already there. With this guy who I'm going to talk about, his friend owns a bunch of property in Hot Springs. One of these properties was where we were going to build this zoo. So anyway, things went on and we got investors interested. Investors dropped off. Investors got interested and dropped off. And I thought, this is crazy. What's going on out here? So then the guy in Hot Springs, Dennis McGee, asked me to do a business plan for a commercial reptile breeding facility. I was his right-hand man, contracted to him as an overseas consultant to help him with this reptile thing. I never got paid a dime for it anyway. But I was happy to do it because I thought my future was going to be in the States. You know, I was going to move my family out there. We were going to live in the forest. I was going to go hunting for snakes every day, yada, yada.
The childhood dream that we've been talking about for a fucking hour.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So the zoo thing didn't really happen. An investor came along who jumped on my business plan for the commercial reptile breeding facility.
Oh, yeah, because at that point, dude, you were an absolute expert at this. You've been watching the market since you were fucking 13. You knew every single facet, just like me. I know you, bro. Like, you're the UK background of me, and I fucking love our fabric, man. I love the grain that we're built on. So
I'd stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning as a kid, just watching this reptile hobby and how things went. And
so you're an expert. So they can look at that. They can look at you like I can look at you and say, dude, you know what the fuck time it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to read a clock, so give me a hand, right?
Absolutely.
So there you go.
So we get an investor
plan.
Yeah, we get an investor for the breeding facility. Now this guy in Hot Springs, Dennis, he's got property with this friend of his. Why not use one of our properties? There's this old flea market thing, 13,000 square foot. You know, big facility. So the investor, they offer a sweetheart deal, you know, to get this building, which is a shithole, basically. Needs a ton of work doing. But that's what these guys do out there. They're trying to get rid of these shithole properties with an investor and then collapse it on them so they can't use the fucking property for what they want to use. Anyway, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't know this shit was going down, I was just, get me on a plane, I'm going to get out there and start my breeding facility. Exported all my animals, cost me thousands of dollars. Bought a bunch of animals in the States, cost me more.
How much money does it cost you to move a collection of blood pythons from the fucking UK to here? I'd find a Russian oligarch that wanted a bunch of fucking crazy pets, and I'd sell them to him, and I'd come here and I'd do my own new business. How the fuck much money was that? And I know you must have quantified it for the profit.
Just to export 20-something bloods. It was, you're looking at 7,000 UK pounds. That's probably 10 grand US.
Ooh.
Yeah. Crazy money, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Plus, because that's the import tax, because you're paying tax on it, the value tax on it. You got to basically VAT tax all your shit in.
Yeah, the crate, even the crate to ship them, you needed
you give me the chills, bro.
Box, which was expensive. You know.
So that's just the first fucking 10 grand.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It was nuts anyway. I got the snakes out there. This friend of mine in Hot Springs has got a snake house. Now he's got a bunch of racking that a friend of mine, Chris Foley, built for us for our breeding facility. that cost us 40 grand for the breeding facility. All these racking and cages he was making for us. Now, Dennis in Hot Springs took some of those racks and put them in his snake house and said, right, I've got these racks here to put your snakes in before we get this breeding thing up and running. Well, half between coming from here to the USA, Dennis and my investor had a fallout, and the investor didn't want anything to do with him anymore. He wanted him off the equity
The land.
Because I brought him in as an equity partner. We had a percentage each, equal amounts, and we were both going to take a small salary just to like keep things going until we were in profit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He never put any animals into the business. It was just me, you know, and I was happy to do that. So we'd hit the ground running. Him and the investor fell out before I got out there. I don't know what it was, but I think the investor had properties with this guy and his gangster friend who had this property company, and he was being shaken down on him for like, maybe he wasn't paying his way or he wanted to set this breeding thing up first. They fell out. He wanted Dennis out of the picture. Dennis made out to me that he was happy with it. He just wanted me to have my future. Come out here. I'll help you get set up any way you can. The animals went into his snake house, and he had a plumber friend coming around every day to help him take care of the snakes, which, looking back now, he was there to like watch over me and make sure I wasn't taking my own snakes out and shit like that. He was just trying to keep tabs on snakes that weren't his, that were fucking mine. So I get to Hot Springs. We get a new building because Dennis and his friend had collapsed the flea market thing. And on the very last day, when we had a permit for planning for approval by the city, Dennis went down there last minute and pulled the application for the permit. So we probably would have got approved for it, but he pulled it last minute, so we'd missed the fucking deadline because they had to meet every month or something like that. So it just pulled it down from this investor. Basically, he spent time and money. Dennis thought, you're not going to get away with cutting me out of this deal. I'm going to pull it.
He had already been cut out of a big fucking taco. He wanted a little enchilada on the side. He wasn't going for that.
Yeah,
Man.
it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for him for me to come out there. And I even said to the guy, look, I'm going to be getting a salary here from this, which is more than double what I make now in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And give you half of my salary to just help me out. Because I loved the guy. I looked up to him like a father. He's an old school herper. You know how much respect I've got for those people. And I thought, you know, he's going to be happy with that. But at 80 years old, he was that greedy. He changed the locks on his snake house, so I couldn't get in there. We had a massive argument about them being my animals. I had 3 Bitters parviocular in there, the Ethiopian mountain vipers, which I'd not long bought from David Spicer in DFW Reptarium.
Holy shit. Yeah, those are gangster. Those things are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're incredible, man. Incredible. Well, we had an argument, and I said, look, I just want to take a picture of these parviocular because they're going in a book or something like that, I said to him. So I took him round to the house, and I fucking sold him. Straight away, I thought, we're getting out of here, and I need flight money to get home. He's up to no good. He's trying to pull the investor down.
Had you already like uprooted the family and all and sold like property
there? Everything. We uprooted everything. We let a house go. We let a car go. We quit our jobs. You know, it was fucking crazy. But we thought we were going to be taken care of and looked after, you know.
Yeah, fuck. Hey guys, hit the like and subscribe over this, just over support for this one guy in this one episode, because this is pretty extreme. I mean, I don't know how I would deal with this or a fire or anything like that would wreck my life like that. But at least you imported the shit, so you had some degree of value and inventory count done, right?
Some of it I got good. Yeah, some of it I got back out of his snake house. It was one of the last days.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Pre-trial.
That's good. You don't want to have to fucking do that shit through secession and stuff with relatives, bro. No, you want to get that shit done. Why that motherfucker's alive.
Yeah. But
indeed. Fuck. Sorry for snacking, by the way. I'm fucking dying over here.
That's okay, man. You eat. Yeah, it got to like one of our last days in Hot Springs. We had a flight booked to get out of there because we knew it was going south anyway.
How long were you here in the U.S.
like
with that.
2 months, something like that.
Wow.
With everything could be installed and nothing happening, and waiting for the investor to pull his socks up, but not knowing that these gangsters had, their hooks in the guy, and he had property debts with them on other things, so they were threatening to collapse everything around this investor. So
wow.
yeah, I was just kind of
fucker.
I was stuck, but I sold those Vipers, got the fuck out of there, and before I left, I went back to Dennis and said, look, and I want to get some of these snakes out because I'm trading adult female blood pythons with a friend of mine who lives out in Jacksonville, Arkansas. Now, I wasn't doing that at all, but Dennis was like, oh, adult females. Oh, we can do something with those. So I took 3 black eye females out of there. My gene.
Oh, so you got the gene out. That's good.
Yeah. There's still a bunch.
Why I asked earlier, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Because I hadn't heard of that, and I was like, ooh, that gene sounds like it could be cool in the future.
Yeah.
Because y'all motherfuckers are going to be like ball python people in the future. And you're like, this 13 scale on the left side by the ear is red. And it's like, you know what? I had a person message me, try to sell me a bamboo ball python that was a yellow belly bamboo, a pastel yellow belly bamboo. It was a regular bamboo, bro. It was just a plain bamboo. And she said, how can you tell? And I said, because I paid $20,000 for a regular bamboo. And I examined every fucking scale on the MORPH when I got it because I loved it. Because I was a big lesser fan. I didn't buy it early when I could. So I bought bamboo for fucking $20,000 when I could. And Amir was like, I'll sell you one for 20. And I'm like, fucking done. And I bought that motherfucker, right? And I learned something about bamboos, that they all have at least one orange scale on them. But that's it. Yeah. Wow. You search the body of the bamboo as a baby, not a MORPH bamboo, just a regular bamboo, and you'll find an orange scale or multiple on it somewhere. It's very weird. It's in different places. It's very small, and it's always there. It's easily like a weird little ringer dot, right? And so when I saw that orange dot, I was like, man, it's just a bamboo. And she was like, why? And I said, well, because it's got an orange dot. I mean, they do have orange dots, though. They definitely do have orange dots. But hey, man, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. So what ended up happening? You got the black-eyed ones out.
Yeah, took them to a friend out in Jacksonville, Arkansas, which was like 2 hours drive away. So I was down the fucking interstate pounding them to get to him, and then he got them to some other friends of mine as a favor for me, and I love this fucking guy anyway.
Yeah.
So he pulled us out of the shit there. The next day, Dennis was outside our apartment, which we were renting, and he was circling the fucking place in his car, like checking out the windows and stuff. And me and my kids and stuff were all sat eating our cereal, like looking out the window. What the fuck's he doing outside? My phone's going crazy. Graham, I need to talk to you. Get in the car and all of this shit. I said, fuck off. I'm with my kids. I said, this is weird. He was like reversing down the hill. You could see him like stalking the house. I thought, this is fucking strange. But the night before, when I did take the black eyes out of the house, he had a document prepared, which it was like, I, Graham Battison, hereby sign ownership of my collection over to fucking Dennis McGee. We need to go to the bank and get this notarized. I said, why the fuck am I signing my animals to you? He said, because you can't take them back home with you. So somebody needs to be responsible for them while you're in the US. I said, nice fucking try, mate. I'm not doing it. And then there was a gun on his
dude, CITES cares to get them here. After that, they don't give a fuck where they go.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
He's got my 2-year-old toddler son sat on his lap.
Asshole.
Yeah. He sat on his lap and he's pointing to a gun on the table while my kid is sat on his lap saying, see that gun there? That's a gun I used to threaten my friend over a $100 bet over the election or something that we had. So that was a threat anyway. So I thought,
fucking Arkansas, bro.
Yeah, we're getting
our Kansas is better than your Kansas. I'm not sure. I'm not sure our Kansas is better than the regular Kansas, but hey, our Kansas thinks they got it. And I'll stop making fun of her. She's not anywhere near there, though. I'm not making fun of Ray. We're not making fun of Ray.
I love Arkansas, and there's some beautiful people.
She's closer to Arkansas than me, though, bro. She's a fucking good bit closer to me. She's about fucking 3 hours closer to me. But yeah, she's like Texarkana for her is probably like maybe an hour and 45 minutes. She's from Texarkana.
Where is she, Louisiana?
Yeah, she's in Louisiana. That Ravens
Shreveport,
Odyssey's lady.
like,
She's in the Shreveport, Alexandria area, which is
I know. I've been
oh
to
yeah.
Shreveport. Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm sorry you've been to Shreveport. You should have come to New Orleans and had fun. Should have come to New Orleans and had fun, bro. Or the den of debauchery. Could have got you some good strippers with, chicks with dicks, whatever you needed. Right. I mean, we got it all. We got it. New Orleans got it all. So great food, great people. So what did you think about your brief time in the US? Would you want to come back here? I mean, or is it spoiled for you?
Well, we've talked about this, me and my partner Amy, and like she doesn't even want to get on a fucking airplane again. To be honest with you,
Spoiled.
She's just getting over it, man. Our kids were involved. Our kids were in the mix of all this, and we put everything to one side.
I couldn't imagine how uprooting that is to your family.
My dream kind of caused this, so I've got the guilt of that hanging over me. But I know I've got this fucking business plan that's going to work, and I've got other interested parties, so I'm torn what to do. I just start something here in the UK where the market sucks, or try again in the States where we've had our fingers burned, So,
hey, look, if you can deal with the overhead in the UK,
yeah,
is it insane to think about just a global supply at this point?
Everything's you guys must be feeling the pinch too, but it's gone fucking nuts here. Even groceries now, we're going to the store and it's twice as much as what we normally buy.
I was speaking to a friend of mine, and he's a server in a restaurant, and he was telling me how bad Halloween was. And I noticed Halloween last night with my kids, how sparse it was outside and how few people compared to last year had things like we're giving candy away. And look, I mean, I don't live in I'm not wealthy by any means. I live nicely. I don't live extravagantly or even, I would say, a nice lower middle class lifestyle. I've got that nailed. Okay.
Yeah.
And where I live is very conservative and wealthy. So the area surrounding, very conservative and wealthy now, especially. So like my kid was getting coloring books and Play-Doh and shit for Halloween. These people are giving this stuff out. Like it's crazy. But I mean, the small like Halloween versions of it, not like the full retail package. But we were looking at just like how sparse it was. And I was like, dude, that's why my back's killing me, dude. Because I mean, I had to go so fucking far around for her to fill up that bucket. We normally had to go half that far. And I'm not trying to sound greedy for candy here, but let that be a lesson to us all about why our morph market accounts are slowing down and why our shipping reptiles is slowing down. And it is very expensive. And I couldn't imagine what it's like in the UK and in the EU, right? In the pound and in the EU, because you guys feel inflation more than we do. And like, you hear us bitch about it. Like you everybody refer to US inflation and everything when the European countries feel it pretty harshly. So
our gas is twice as much as yours. And
right. I mean, most people don't even realize if you go to London to buy fuel, you're paying like equivalent probably $12 to $14 a gallon, probably. Right. Or is that
crazy? Man.
That's probably about right. Right. Like probably like 8 to 10 pounds per gallon.
Yeah.
In the city. So it's absurd. It's absurd. So yeah. It's tough. It's tough looking at a species that you love so much. But then again, you could be the guy that makes the market work. Do you think the ball python market in the EU and the pound work?
I think it does, but it could be marketed a lot better. I mean, I posted something about Justin Kabilka the other day, and it was how he's done things with his YouTube channel and stuff like that. I mean, I know he's got Summer doing his like social media for him and his filming and things, but how he showcases an animal and lights it up and brings the characteristics of it to light is how everybody should be really selling animals. But over here, you've still got people selling animals without using a decent camera, without cropping it out.
Don't hate me. My whole entire morph market right now is cell phone pictures, just because I didn't have time with the fish store and I stopped taking photos and took race of it. But yeah, I mean, that's it. You just get too busy and it just gets out of hand. But I think you're right about being an ambassador to the species.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think you need to do to get it Over the hump. I mean,
I
because
think-
look, I'm really stuck on. Let me ask you this: do you feel that the people of the UK and of the EU in general would rather deal with us than deal with each other?
I think there's a lot of that. Yeah, I think there is. Massively so.
That's why I always called that the market wouldn't make it over there with you.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
it.
Some
Because
people
those motherfuckers would be like, I'm not buying from you. I'll buy it from Justin. I'll buy it from Sean directly. I'm not buying it. Why would I help my competitor get further? Because if I buy that morph from him, he's going to use that money to buy the next morph. And then I'm one morph behind him. And you know how many of you, not you, how many of them said that?
Yeah.
Many, right? Many. So wherein does that break? Wherein does the people there? I think it's kind of gotten by force, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, how
People
have you
go-
been to Ham lately? I mean,
No,
how
not for a
huge
while.
is it?
No,
You know?
Ham is still big, but the thing with those now in the UK, Sean, is Brexit has fucked up bringing in CITES to animals. So if I wanted to go to Ham and bring a load of blood pythons in, I'd have to do the import papers and export papers before I even got out there and made the deal, which is, you're looking at months in advance before you can't go over.
Yeah. It
anymore.
really hindered that process with that money argument.
Yeah.
What were you for? Were you for
Yeah.
joining the EU or not?
At first, I thought we were getting told all these great things that would happen if we left the EU. We were going to save millions and put it back into the economy and all of this shit. But it was a lie. It was just another government lie that, you know, it goes in their pockets and not ours, you know. That's
Same reason we left back in the day.
Yeah. You know,
Sorry, bro.
the British public are fucking gullible people. They will read a newspaper and they'll see a headline and they think it's fucking.
That's it, huh? They buy it hook, line, and sinker. The Queen's words or that's it.
Everything. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And people are too, as you talk about royalty there, people are reading articles about what the fucking Princess Kate or whatever is wearing for the day, as opposed to like real fucking news. That's good. Real things that are happening in people's fucking lives, you know?
Yes, indeed.
Personally.
Yes, somebody's going to call it news, brother. Somebody's going to call it news.
I hate that term sheep because, you know, a lot of people, these conspiracy theorists and stuff, you're a sheep, you're a sheep. There's a lot of fucking sheep. There's not a lot of wolves, you know?
Not a lot of shepherds.
No.
A lot of sheep dressed as shepherds, though, huh? Oh, man. That's no offense to anybody that's got a YouTube channel. It's got not 5 times, just 3 times as many subscribers as I do right now because I'm coming up. But at the same time, bro. Yeah. That's funny. So what's the future hold for you? I mean, I know you said that this whole thing comes to a head here pretty soon.
Yeah. Well,
what is that like? Is that you said 2 weeks is a pre-trial?
2 weeks today is like the pre-trial hearing, but according to my company, it's not going to make trial. It's going to get judged in 2 weeks.
Great. It seems like a pretty dry cut case when you have as much paperwork and as much breadcrumb trail as you do. You know,
definitely. I mean, he's defending himself with no attorney, so.
Oh shit! Really? He's not even got an attorney? Oh fuck!
No.
Your attorney's gonna chew him up then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you don't do that, guys. I don't even care if you're a lawyer. You don't do that. You just don't do it. You just don't ever do it.
On paper, he owes me $167,000, and plus then there's the damages on top of that.
And is there a total number that you went for or your lawyer went for that you could discuss? You rather not discuss it? It's fine with me.
Well, we haven't even had that discussion yet because
let's not talk about that. Yeah, I don't want to do anything that does anything to sacrifice any chances that you have here.
No.
And I know that lawyers and courts can be really funny even about social media things like this. So I appreciate you doing the show tonight. I didn't really want to do it because of your announcement that you were going in 2 weeks. Obviously, we got the information after we scheduled this.
Yeah.
But
well, everything is only the fucking truth, though, you know, so.
Yeah, that's it, right? I mean, it's not libel, it's not slander, it's not defamation. Guys, let me just tell you this, okay? Especially if you got a YouTube channel. All right. You'll hear me say some shit. And sometimes it's not always the best, right? It's not always the cleanest. It's not always the whatever, right? You might hear us say some shit, but at the same time, I think respect is due where it is due. And, some people just need to be said like the truth. Okay. But what you need to know is defamation, libel, and slander, no matter how many times people yell at you, they're going to sue you for that or going to whatever. There's two things in America that have to hold up for that in general. Okay. The two things that I know of are one, it's got to be fucking false. That's it. If it's true, it's automatically not any of those three things. Okay. It's got to be false. All right. So if you could prove it, you're fucking golden, right? And then two, it's got if you prove that it's false, you then have to prove that it was done out of malice. And the person could say that they were doing it to help the buyers, not hurt the sellers. Because it means two totally different things. If I go after a seller, I'm trying to hurt the seller. If I go warn buyers, it's a completely different process. So as a society like we are with our capitalism, we do have this in place. So I'm glad that this happened. I'm glad you have all the paperwork you have. You're a fucking outstanding dude. And I hope they all see it. I really do. I hope they all see right through that bullshit and that he has absolutely nothing to stand on. So yeah, guys. So hey, look, there's Keys. I mentioned him earlier. Another YouTuber I'm proud to call a friend who's doing great work. As long as his wife's behind the camera working in comments, unlike me, I'm over here spitting on myself and working comments, bro. I'm not doing too good, So do you have a collection now?
Yeah, I've got some stuff. I've got blood pythons again. I've got one.
You told me that you were thinking about doing an import soon or something, huh? Something like that.
US colubrids. I want to bring in. You can't get decent subox over here. You can't get centicolus. You can't get really, proven lineage alterna, rosy boas. All the king snakes.
Yeah, I'll be honest, they've got a really great. This is what's sad. The corn snake hobby over there is alive and stronger than the corn snake hobby right here, right now, bro. Can you believe that? That you guys have us fucking lapped on that?
You can't find a pure Okati corn snake in the UK. You can't find them.
No. There's probably some stitches that need to be, some holes that need to be filled there. But
what are the corn snakes like over in the US? Are the corn snakes with those little button heads now, where you don't see like a proper corn snake with a rat snake, long triangle?
Yeah, I guess I could see that. You know who? I know I haven't posted a whole lot of them because I think Jennifer Hale would have busted me up over it because she busted me up over ball pythons fucked up head shapes after our show. And then we had a long, bro, she's like sending me screenshots from MORPH Market. Like, what about this one? This is fucked. What about this one? This one's fucked. What about not mine, not my snakes, bro, like other people's snakes. It was a great private conversation that you will.
I remember the Graziani video where you pointed that one out to him, and
dude. I mean, I've mentioned it a couple of times on these new shows, but when you listen to the Graziani and Dave Kaufman interview, and Greg's like, it's not fucked up, and I'm like, yeah, right. If you still had it, and he's like, I still have it, and I was like, go get it. And you hear Dave say, yeah, it's fucked up, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? You didn't notice that? 20-something years of working with 30 years of working with ball pythons, and you didn't notice the head shape? What the fuck? It was like crazy shit. So. It's pretty funny though, because sometimes someone new eyes can see a new thing.
Exactly.
Right. Like, because here's the thing. Greg Graziani was busy being a cop and raising ball pythons when I was watching every little fucking intricacy of every baby ball python that hatched. Right. Yeah. Every little scale, every head, every weird little fucking knee. Right. Like Kevin would do. Right. Because that's what curl. What's that?
You had the time on your hands where you could actually nerd out and see that shit.
And you had 30-hour days, bro. Like I talked to a friend of mine and I was like, you see that kid over there? You need to use that energy because you have no idea the quality, quantity, and power of the energy of a fucking noob, right? The energy of a noob. The same reason why I'm the only old schooler behind the mic because they're like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
You know, it ends up being a problem, you know, like they're not going to come back to it because they've already done it all. So yeah, it's Marissa says, I've been noticing so many weird ball python head shapes. And honestly, yeah, it's going to be a problem. Stop looking at the skin behind the neck. Start looking at the structure of the snake, because you're now. I can honestly say that in some cases, some ball pythons right now are looking rougher than bearded dragons, and they haven't been around and inbred as much as bearded dragons, because ball pythons have been imported every year. Every year, there's an influx of ball python blood. There's never been new bearded dragon blood, unless, well, now there is, because people, dude, you seen some of these high-end bearded dragons over here, Graham? Some of these motherfuckers are going for $1,000 for babies.
Well,
And shit
Monster. Is it Monster?
Monster and fucking Red. Red is this shirt, bro. Red is this badass TJW exotic shirt that I'm wearing. You know,
I think I need to get some bearded dragons again.
fucking right, dude. You watch Luke at Lizard Morphs from Australia. Hit him up on Instagram, bro, if you don't already.
Do you know one lizard that hasn't really taken off, which fucking should? Because the amount of different species and colors and is Euromastics.
Yeah, but Euros are a bitch to breed, bro.
Yeah, well, you've got to cool them, and you know when you do,
cool them and get them with
super heaty fucking things,
ridiculously cold. Oh fuck, man, those. Yeah, you're right. A bunch of colors, but whew, that's difficult. That's a difficult species, right? I mean, you had like, who even does that? I mean, I know Lindsay Pike. Lindsay Pike was my guy on Euros. Anytime
there's a guy in Germany called Camille Hammers, and he's fucking incredible Euromastics.
Right. Red Monster. Corbin says Red Monster babies are $3,500 because he's a bearded dragon guy. My boy Corbin that lives down the road and helps me out here at the shop sometimes at the building and stuff. Yeah, he's been working on bearded. I've got a really killer red one next door that I paid as a baby. I paid like $600 for.
Yeah.
That ridiculous. I just couldn't be without it. I wanted it for the store whenever we were starting the reptiles in the shop before I sold it. And I was like, dude, I'm putting this reddest fucking bearded dragon in Louisiana in this store. You know, I mean, it was fucking beat red, bro. I fantasize about this level of red. I mean, Sandfire fantasized about this level of red, right? Bob fantasized about it.
There's another guy who could come on, Bob Mayu.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having Bob on if he would come on. I'm not sure if he would, but I wouldn't mind having him on.
Him and Philippe, you know.
Philippe, I think, would do it.
It was Ron St. Pierre the other day who put something up about the AVS books Philippe did back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I got them all sitting right here on the shelf, bro.
Yeah.
A whole fucking arm of them.
One of my first ever books was, I was 7 when I bought that skink, was The Right Way to Feed Insect-Eating Lizards by Philippe Beaujolais.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that one I don't have. Look at this, boy. Look at this stack of Popular Care series right here.
Yes. Some of the best books.
Quite a few of them.
Some of the best hair books. Better than those tropical fish hobbyist fucking things.
Oh, yeah.
They were
and look, and I made comments about getting rid of every copy, but I couldn't get rid of them all. So
never.
I couldn't get rid of them all. Okay, so here it is, proof. I've still got it, even after he told my girlfriend to take her top off at a reptile show when she was 17 years old.
Wow.
You know, yeah. Even after that happened, I burned all of his books. No, I didn't burn them. I threw them away. I went into my shop and I grabbed all the books out of the shop and I threw them in trash. But I kept one. But yeah, that's amazing. You know, I got another book that's packed away somewhere. One of my buddies borrowed it, but I know it's back here. If it's not, I know exactly who has it and he won't steal it from me. But I have the Day Gecko book, the AVS Day Gecko book. That was written by Sean McEwen, who died in like 99 or 2001 or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, fucking books, bro. Books. Yeah, look, even that, right? You remember this little gem. Remember that little gem? It's got a green cover, so it's going to be all faded out. But you remember Reptile Amphibian Magazine, the little one?
Yeah.
The Reader's Digest size? Yep. The AVS book-sized one, you know? So, yeah, dude. I mean, this stuff was a grand introduction. I mean, they rewrote it when they redid it in color, like the BOA manual and the ball manual.
That book there, the BOA manual, has got some information that even Vin Russo's latest book hasn't got in. That's a fucking gem.
Yeah, this is a gem, and look how thin it is, Vin. Yeah. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck, bro? I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's young guys and there's old guys. There's young guys that explain, and there's old guys that sum up. You know what I mean? They're like your boy on Princess Bride. You're like, no, not the full story. Just give me sum up. Just sum up. Yep, that's it. Sum up. That's about sum. If you can write a masterful book on an entire genus of snakes in this many pages that we learned from. So, and I mean, dude, look at these pictures. Look
I'll tell you what I found the other day, Sean. This one will take you back. Do you remember the ball python manual Dave and Tracy had a hand in writing years ago?
Yeah, that one of these books.
Morphs in there, but a classic jungle ball python was in there. Do you remember classic?
Yeah, I do remember a classic jungle, and we discussed this.
That thing was the best looking ball python I ever seen.
There it is. Hold on. I got my book camera. I just need to set up my book camera, my extra camera for books. I should have done that for this show, bro. The classic jungle. Oh, shit. I didn't log out. No,
it was never reproducible, was it? But those were the coolest fucking balls.
Yeah, and but that's the thing, though. We still hatch them all the time, and people still fucking try to say, oh, look at this morph, and it's crazy, and I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to work. And I'm like, you motherfucker can work on it, and work on it, and work on it, and work on it.
There it is. Look at that friggin' snake.
There it is. The one at the top?
Yeah.
That one. That one right there is a standard weird hatching normal.
Yeah.
You will hatch them. If you haven't hatched them yet,
yeah,
you will hatch them. If you keep hatching ball pythons and you hatch normals, you will hatch this.
Yeah.
And it is not special. And you need not work on it for the rest of your fucking life because it's not going to prove out.
No.
I'm sorry to say it's not. And you know, that funny head shape was a lot like that. You know, you can start to, you can kind of see it here on this one, on this corner here. You can kind of start to see it, that funny head ball shape that gave it that color, that gave it that transition color. But then in the same book, a few pages later, you have a clown striped ball, a quote unquote clown striped ball python in this morph, which is probably, this is a quote from the
proven yet.
In this morph, which is probably not of genetic origin, the mid-dorsal series of light-colored blotches and is absent, and the light-colored lateral blotches are extended and fused, resulting in an irregular mid-dorsal stripe. Photo by David Barker.
Yeah.
That was, and look, it's a fucking blade.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? The very first clown was a fucking blade. Oh, where'd it come from? Brian Barchuk didn't insert blade in a clown.
No.
It was in there all along. Well, I thought Tracy put it in originally until I got back to this book and I looked at it and I was like, that's a pretty clean clown, dude.
Yeah.
For being an African wild-caught clown, that's a pretty fucking clean one, right?
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Woo! Boy, that's a book right there that you guys can't. Go ahead, you can get it. I'm sure you can find it.
Video.
Somebody's got them on eBay.
Still got the.
Somebody said there was videos. I don't remember the videos.
The VPI VHS video I've still got.
Oh, fuck. Well, no, I had VHS videos. I had VHS videos from Snakekeeper on ball python breeding, but I never had a VHS.
They had the ultrasound out and stuff like that. I remember that one,
Yeah, when Mark Seward with the what you call it?
Mark Seward, the Gila monster guy.
Yeah, understanding reptile parasites. That was an excellent one, and we learned a lot from. Right, this was a killer. Or a savior, actually, not a killer. This is a savior. Yeah,
that Klingenberg, the vet guy.
Yeah, Klingenberg. That's exactly it. Roger J. Klingenberg. Yep. That's him. That's him. You know, I stepped up my game though. For anybody out there, I do believe this book is still valued by everyone. But I just looked over and saw it while we're going down book lane with this gentleman. But it's called the Exotic Animal Formulary. Have you ever seen this one?
No, never seen that one.
This is actually the medication book, so you can look up all of the species, birds, reptiles, and everything by medications and dosages and weights. Like, this is literally like the field guide to medicating exotic animals, and this was an excellent one too. So yeah, man, it's good to know that we have that same. Look at this fucker right here. This was an addiction to mine when I was little.
Yeah.
That was my book when I was little, bro.
Yeah.
Mike McEastern. He's fucking. Merp. Yeah, you guys wish you had fucking grain like this. That's why you listen to this show, so you can pick it up osmotically, right? They'll learn. They'll learn from me and you over the years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, what's it gonna be next, bro? Just hit it out the park with everything?
I've got a decent sized concrete building in the garden that I'm about to knock through and skim coat and, you know, turn that into a reptile room of sorts.
Sounds exciting. Sounds like a good start.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it until the spring when I can insulate it and shit like that and get it all running right and, you know, get some fans on in there and render the outside and get it looking nice and pretty anyway. But for now, I've just got a spare room in the house. I've got a bunch of boas. I've got some blood pythons. Still got one of my super striped batiks, which is breeding now. He's Posset T-Pos albino, and I'm breeding it to a striped het T-Pos albino. So I could hit.
We need to talk about albinos more, just so we can hear you say it. You know,
yeah,
I like hearing it. I like hearing it. You know,
I could produce the first super striped T-Pos batiks anyway in blood pythons. What else have I got? I've got VPI, FVPI marbles, Borneos raising up.
Elite Exotic says, I love this stuff. I got the hardback. That's nice. Yeah, you got the hardback of what book? You know, which one? Shoot it out. You got the hardback. Sure. I want to know. Old book. I don't know. Yeah, so, dude, I mean, fuck.
Jungle carpet pythons I've got coming in a couple of weeks. I've got winter line jungles from Germany.
Really?
Those yellow.
Okay.
Like
yep.
Hazard tape, you know?
Yep.
Some of the jungles here in the UK now fucking suck. That's the one.
And honestly, this animal fucking sucked. It was just a good photo.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not like Cover Girl. Remember Will Leary? Whatever happened to Will and Mary Leary? Whatever happened to them?
Will Leary had some fucking incredible carpets.
Didn't he? What the fuck ever happened to him? Anybody in the chat know what happened to him? I want to know.
Yeah, I think he got out, man. I think he just totally got out.
Yeah, he got out but I mean, I don't believe they were pretty religious though.
Yeah.
In like a, I don't know. That was kind of an awkward way, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, he had an incredible setup. He used to bring that adult carpet that was on the cover of Reptiles magazine. He used to bring it to Daytona every year. The Cover Girl and display her. I gave him $7,000 for one of the very first, Tiger Jags. When him and Jason Balin did a breeding with the Jaguar and the Tiger and made the very first Tiger Jag combo. And I bought what I thought was the nicest male from that very first clutch.
Yeah.
And never made my money back on that, but always loved working with them, even though they were very different than McDowell that I had worked with that were real.
With carpets is, Sean, you've got to wait a fucking year before you can sell them because at first they're like little ugly ducklings, aren't they? You know, everyone wants to see the potential, what it's going to look like, and you can't.
Yeah, it's something lovely, ball python folks, when you start looking into Morelia, but please don't start looking at Morelia classified ads and then wane, because really keep your interest, because they grow with color. They grow with color. They take years to reach their potential, and when they do reach their potential, they keep it for many, many years. And I honestly think that you would be very well served to get into some just buying on bloodline. Just buy like, oh, this is the parents, you know, and that's it. But yeah, Bob Fudo had some killer pythons, you know, Mike said. You miss Bob. Yeah, I miss Bob as well. I remember talking to him years ago. Who would be your number one? Who do you think was your rock star, holy ghost of it when you were coming up?
Probably Dave Parker, Dave and Tracy. I used to look at VP websites when they were keeping Morelia. And they had those big cages on wheels that they'd fucking wheel outside.
Yeah.
For the diamonds and stuff.
Yeah, them and Ron Tremper really did some fucking wacky shit there in Bernie, Texas with animals outside, you know?
Well, you know the history between Ron and the Barkers? They fucking hate each other now. They don't speak anymore.
Oh, yeah. Hate each other, don't speak anymore, and they live right there in the same fucking hill.
You probably got to go and collect the mail at the end of the drive and fucking bump into each other.
Yeah. They're pretty close. I mean, they're pretty close. I know that. And I mean, Ron's still kicking it, right? I mean, he's still at it. And his Ron Tremper's business, the Center for Reptile and Amphibian Propagation, CRAP, C-RAP, CRAP. That was when all them had Nerd. That's when Kevin came out with Nerd, and he had CRAP. And then, come on, bring me down. And who had the other ones? You had Warp. You had Ward with Warp. Ward's World, the Reptile Propagation. He's still around though. Yeah, dude. I mean, there were so many abbreviations. Somebody recently had posted. Oh yeah, it was Barry Swope for all you ball python folks. It was Barry Swope that posted he was having a name game thing where he was struggling over what to call his business because he was coming up with a name, and everybody's like, "Bro, why don't you just call it Barry Swope? Everybody fucking knows you. Why don't you just call it Swope? Don't call it some ectothermin and blah blah. You know, don't do that." And I was like, dude, when I called it Exotics by Nature, nobody knew who the fuck I was.
Yeah.
It was just a cool name. I was just like the name, right? Just like the name. And I was like, I'm going to do business as a business name. And I'm going to always use the word we in place of me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to always use us in the place of I. And I'm always going to make myself seem bigger and better and badder than I am.
Yeah.
Because you got to fake it till you make it. And it's the only way to do it.
Big
So, you know, evening Pikeline for coming in late. Thank you for catching us tonight. But yeah, man, I think that has a lot of, you know.
Here's a question for you, Sean. What did you think of Dave Kaufman's ball python video?
I liked it. I don't know how I feel. The only thing about it that I could say would be a quasi negative would be the judgmental side of the culture. I thought it was a little judgmental. I personally don't think they care. I don't think they care. I don't think they're like, oh, you insulted the people in there. I don't think they give a fuck. I really don't. I think they're used to it. I think they think it's funny.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I think I might have mentioned this before on the show. I don't know, but I went to Chinatown with my ex once, and there was a little old Asian man sitting on a stool at the end of a corner in San Francisco, Chinatown. And he's just chuckling, and he's just chuckling with his fucking toothy maw and everything. It's kind of like it's like a scene out of a movie, right? It doesn't even seem
Trouble in
real,
Little China.
yeah, exactly. Got Big Trouble in Little China. He's like, oh yeah, he's funny. And I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to figure out what he's laughing at because there's people all around, right? And then the people move, and I see a leopard shark on ice. They got a wall of ice on top of the little thing, right, at Chinatown, and I see the leopard shark chopped up in bits on the ice, right? But that's not what the people are looking at. The guy's got a full-bodied fucking armadillo shoved in the ice with its ass sticking out of the ice, selling it for food. Like a real fucking like Texas full-sized, hairy-ass, nasty-looking armadillo. right next to the shark, right next to the fucking shrimp, right next to the fish. And he's just because all the white people are like, oh, gross. All the tourists are like fucking gagging and shit. And he's just like, oh, we eat everything. We don't go waste nothing, And I'm just like, dude, there's a funny fucking thing right there going on. So, if I'm going to look at a foreign person and their culture, some of them have a way around it. Okay. I'm not going to go and say that Dave Kaufman going to West Africa was like Anthony Bourdain going to a place and saying yuck. Okay. It's not the same. If Anthony Bourdain went to a place and was like, oh, fuck, that's fucking horrible. I would be like, okay, that's a little distasteful. But we go back to my Asian girlfriend, dude. I was growing up in the South with a white family with a bunch of, honestly, a bunch of old bigots, a bunch of old fucking bigots. Exactly what you would think. Okay. And I'm growing up and I'm trying to have culture. So it turns out my very first relationship is an interracial relationship, but it's accepted by my bigot well, he wasn't that much of a bigot.
Yeah.
But he's old time, right? World War II and all that stuff. Trust me, dude. When I came home with an Asian girl, he was fucking over the moon.
Really?
If I would have come home with a black girl or a Mexican girl, that would have been fucking it. You know what I mean? And that's it. And it's like the Asian acceptance. It's like, ooh, Asian women are fine. I want one. That kind of thing. So my family accepted her into our life. But the one thing she did was she accepted my family the way they were, except for me.
Yeah.
Okay. I was held to a different set of standards. And that set of standards says, if I give you a cracker with something on it and you think it's gross, just say no, thank you. Don't say, ugh, you're going to eat that? God, that looks like disgust. You're insulting someone there. So that would be my only real neg about it. I think if I had the pleasure of going, you know what? And I hope Dave I'll even say, hey, Dave, we talked shit about you, just so he'll hear this, because I want him to hear me say this. I was flattered with it at the end of the introductory drone scene.
Yeah.
Only because I thought about the feeling of what it felt like to be him to fly a camera drone through fucking Ghana. And I'm like, that's an experience right there. I'm happy for my friend. Okay. And I talked about it the other evening. Jake Adams, who's a huge star in the YouTubing world of reef aquariums. I talked about this a bit ago. I think it's worth mentioning. Jake died on a flight to Bali last week. I'm not sure why Jake died on a flight to Bali last week. But the day after I heard about Jake's death and the world was trying to figure out what was going on in his life, Dave Kaufman hit me up and he said, dude, do you know Jake Adams? And I said, yeah, I happen to know him. I mean, we're friends through Facebook and we had long night chats about people in the industry. We have a lot of friends and stuff in common in the fish industry, deep friends, not just friends I made in the last 3 years, friends I've had for 20 years. And he said, dude, I was with him on the plane when he died.
Yeah, because he's over there now, isn't he, Dave? Over.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're going to be coming back here soon. But on the flight over, he said, I got to LAX. We were boarding the plane to go to Bali, and I heard somebody say, Dave Kaufman? And he said he introduced himself as Jake Adams, that he had a big YouTube channel for reefing. He said, I'm not in the reef hobby, so I don't follow it, bro. I'm in all this other shit. And he's like, but I follow you, dude, Dave. I'm a huge fan. But he was a huge reptile fan. Jake was supposed to take one of my Burmese star tortoises to be his pet on his in his set for his YouTube channel. So anybody that wants to check out Jake and all his work with reefing, I personally think it's the most professional. If you want to talk about the reptile adventures of reef aquariums, this is the channel. Him and Coralfish 12G, him and George have it beat. But yeah, go check out Reef Builders. But Jake died on the plane with Dave last week in fucking some tragic thing. Some freak thing of a fucking 41-year-old, in my age, 41-year-old guy who had no health problems that anybody really knew of.
Shit like that just wakes you up, doesn't it?
He's taken like 5 or 6 booster shots all consecutively to go to Bali. And maybe there was complications with that. I'm not really sure, but the thing is Dave reached out to me not to tell me this in a jest.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, in Jake's memory, I'm sorry if this seems jestful, because it's not about jest. It's about connections. Okay. It's about this small planet that we live on. It's about how small this planet is, even when we go interplanetary, how small our species can be if we just care about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Dave said, dude, I have information his family needs. Can you get me in touch with them? And I said, no, I can't. I don't know Jake's family. I don't know his wife. I said, and if I go on his page right now, it's going to be a sea of literally the world of saltwater aquarium keepers.
Sure.
The entire world of salt. This would be like Dave himself falling down like that, right?
Yeah. Of course.
There was no way I was going to reach anyone. So I reached out to I reached out to the Dave Barker of reefing in America, and he got back to me in 30 minutes, and he got the message in, and maybe they're connecting when they get home, when Dave gets home. But dude, Dave as a person, I don't think he set out to do anything negative. I think it was all positive. I think that the ball python community might have been looking for some grandiose thing. Like,
I think the video was really good. I think what the point I was trying to get across is, over here in the UK, where a lot of fucking elitist keepers hate keeping things in racks and things like that, just totally fucking overlook the fact that these animals are living a largely subterranean fucking existence down a hole 90% of their lives. You say you've got to keep a fucking tree in a ball python enclosure because it might climb once in its life. It needs a fucking tree, all of that stuff. I think people needed to see actually how these things are fucking living out there.
Honestly, ball pythons are probably one of the more suited rack animals that I've come across in my years.
Why did people start breeding ball pythons? Because they started keeping them more enclosed and more secure, and the things started fucking eating again. Because I remember my first ball pythons, you couldn't get the thing to fucking eat.
Hey guys, do you guys know how Brian Barczak's operation? And this is not a dig at all. This is just how he did it. How Brian Barczak's operation was laid out back in the day. The boa constrictor tub from Freedom Breeder, the 4-foot drawer, I bet you didn't notice. The 4-foot, now you knew this, but they didn't notice. The 4-foot Freedom Breeder drawer is made so that a ball python CB70 rack can go on top of it. All right, and fit it.
Yeah.
So the whole rack was made to the width of a 30 with like your FB70 rack was the same footprint as the big boa drawers. And Barchak had, this is crazy, bro. And this is not a dig. This is how it was. And it worked because I tried it and it fucking worked well. It worked really, really well. It was just my employees hated fucking feeding them and shit like that. But then again, we have a little different care protocol. He would put the boa racks on the bottom of the rack and the ball pythons, individual CB70 tubs, FB70s. They're all called, we call them CB70s from back in the day because that was the original product name by Iris, which is the original maker of that size tub that fits in every. If I call Iris right now and say, send me a CB70, it will fit in every commercial rack system that tub, that an FB70 or a ARS 77, whatever, it fits in. Okay, it's the CB70. And he would take in breeding season because they were so fucked. We weren't using ultrasounds yet. They were so busy that they were missing all these females by not being able to get a male in the cage with them, right? Because they were off on Saturdays and Sundays because they didn't run it like a personal collection. They weren't in there every day after work, at night, on the weekends, right? Like they were running it like I run Exotics by Nature now. When you call me and you're like, bro, can I get a picture of that snake? I'm like, yeah, I can do it for you tomorrow at 11. And then if you get to me by 5, I can get you anything you need. But if it's not Monday through Friday, 11 to 5, I'm sorry. I more than likely can't get you exactly what you need within a day or two notice, you know. But they were doing all that. Might bring me back to where I was, bro. Fuck, I just lost.
You were missing out on all the cues from a female.
Oh, right. So he would put like 5 girls or 6 girls from the rack in the boa tub with a male and then close it up and leave them and then just pull them out and feed them. I didn't have the infrastructure when we tried it. So my employees were pissed because he had the tubs where you could take the rat, pull the female, put her up, feed her, pull a male, feed them. When they'd eat, put them back in the tub. Done. Move on to the next, go back and you go back and go drop all of them animals back in the big tubs from the little tubs and pull all those rats and move on to the next. Okay, boss man, I got it. Right. And that's how he ran it. And so I was like, really? He ran a harem setup like a leopard gecko breeder. He ran a harem setup for ball pythons. Now, honestly, it fucking works if you separate the females to lay eggs. It's no different than a rat breeding colony when you're pulling pregnant girls. If you're attentive enough, you can do it. And we did it. We put 5 females in a tub. And then you have the other mindset, right, Graham, that a female that's ovulating will induce another female to ovulate.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like, what in the fuck? There it is. So
Well, all 5 females are ovulating at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know about ovulating at the same time, but definitely getting in queue of things.
Triggered,
yeah. I mean, not quite like mammals are, especially like primate mammals and humans, right? I mean, they'll sync up menstrual cycles and shit. They'll sync up ovulatory cycles, but I don't know about snakes. I don't know that snakes do it. Coming from a facility that's literally full, right? Like if you could have a brothel that had like fucking 150 floors, right? I mean, think about it, right? I mean, think about the pheromones that are in a facility like Justin Kabilka's.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's like, God, if you're a snake and you're anywhere near Justin Kabilka's, you're like, what's up over there, bro? What's up over there? I want to go over there. Because that's got to be like radiating, right?
Those males are constantly stimulated all the time.
Oh, yeah, this black blood I have next door is a fucking big old knot on his nose, fucking big fucking knot. And I'm like, he smells it. He won't stop rubbing on this fucking cage. So we moved him into a cage, moved him into a vision.
Yeah.
And there's another thing I wanted to quickly touch on with you was caging over there. That's been a frustration, I'm sure, for you for many, many decades.
I think people are so like, you've got these people now who've been keeping for 1 fucking year and all of a sudden they're like, they're animal experts when
as we were talking about sheep that pretend to be shepherds, that's what I was talking about, right? Those
remember
that
Dave and Tracy did that thing, the snake keeping years thing Dave and Tracy did. the amount of species you've kept, the number of animals you've kept over the amount of years is what gauges experience in fucking keeping animals, right?
Dude, this is 62 years if you add up what some of these assholes add up on their company claims these days.
Yeah. Well,
Like, hey, how long have you been doing this? All right, 10 plus. How long have you been doing this? 12 plus. That's 22 plus. You know,
you can't make a
collectively.
rule of, if you've got a pair of something and you observe something anecdotally, you can't say that applies to the whole species. Now, if you've got 100 fucking blood pythons, then you're going to start seeing some shit that marries and you know, makes fucking sense.
Do you think anything is as individualistic as a ball python, though, bro?
I mean, I don't
You're pretty fucking quirky. Speaking of quirky,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he's up here.
Ball python breeders have absolutely nailed the ability to make that animal thrive in a captive setting. It's thriving. If it's eating, breeding, you know, doing everything, living a long life, you know, not suffering any fucking... How fast do things go downhill when you're doing something wrong with a reptile? Really fucking fast, you know?
At least visually really fast once you're good at it, right?
Yeah.
Like I can look at a snake. You can look at a snake. You know,
It'll change
you
in a
should
week.
be able to.
Yeah.
Well, wait. I'm sorry, Greg. Greg Graziani. I'm sorry, Greg. You should be able to look at a snake for 25 years and notice it's got a fucked up head. But I mean, other than that, I mean, he loved that snake and he loved it. He loved it so much he disproved it. He proved it as a normal, yet he still kept it for 20 more years until he did that podcast. That right there is the grain of a herper. That's not the grain of a ball python breeder. That's not the grain of your next and I don't mean that leveling up, but not picking on any particular episodes, but like anything that's people that are already arrived that are saying, here's how to arrive. Oh, look, bro, shut up, motherfucker. You know, I kind of feel like that a little bit, Graham. I mean, I'm not trying to get too spicy here at the end, but you know, I don't know how you really necessarily feel about the way things have gone. But I mean, I love the media, like you said, the promotion, like that Justin does with the breed, and that needs to be done more. I could agree.
We've got a bunch of keepers over here who seem to have got a hatred on for fucking breeders. Now, these keepers wouldn't be able to keep anything if it wasn't.
Not all the bioactive people that are doing the cage constraint law and all that shit.
The elitist thing, they think that keeping a few springtails and some live dirt in the fucking box is the same as an animal has got in the wild with the wind and the rain and the fucking sun. And it's just a load of shit, basically. It's just... All right, it looks pretty in your house. That jungle setup looks really nice. But a lot of these people doing things simply are doing it better than you are.
What did you think of? I don't know if you listened to Holdback Rack when she was on Jennifer Hale when she was on the show, but she talked about the phorid flies in those terrariums spreading crypto around their collections. Shit, because they're keeping bioactive terrariums with screens that these flies can just go in and transmit things from one to the next
all over the room.
with no problem. Same problem with roaches and rats, bro. Roaches and rats do the same thing. If you got a roach problem around your rats, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, everyone's got their own little pool of shit floating around in the collection. You know, you bring something new in every time with no quarantine or whatever, then you know things can go south pretty quick. And that happened to me with ball pythons when I imported stuff from Bob Clark back in the day. I'm pretty sure it was paramyxovirus or something. One had got a respiratory infection, then the next, then the next. The whole room basically died off with a lot of my stuff when I was younger. And it was bad. It was, you know.
Bro, I'm not going to lie. You are more addicted to this than I ever was because I'm knocking on my bad ass old wooden, my river tabletop that I had in the shop that you can't even see, but it's real wood.
Yeah.
Knocking my ass off on it when I say that. If anything like that had happened to me, like Mark Petros happened with all that virus shit and things like you, because you had a virus, then you had a dude steal all your shit. Bro, I would be so fucking gone. I'd be like making boats or something. I'd be like fucking at a craft show making earrings or some shit. I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing, but I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be so burned on that. Dude, I lost $2,500 to one guy in the reef world who was importing coral from Malaysia that scammed like 60 grand. And I'm like, you motherfucker. I wish this was the snake world because you would get an ass chewing and somebody would fucking probably hunt you down. But
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck, man? $2,500 fucking smoked up. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. I'm dealing with only guys that I've known for fucking like 30 years, you know, and then you limit yourself on cool new shit and you know what I
Can you
mean? Like
imagine?
you get shell shocked, right? You get all fucking scared and you get.
You imagine how nervous those guys were sending money to fucking Africa back in the day.
Oh,
Like,
dude, yeah. Ralph Davis would tell me,
yeah.
you know what I do? You know how I get these snakes? And I was like, how? He said, I told Noah, whatever Tracy and Kevin offer, I'll pay them twice that much.
Yeah.
And then I got to go wire. Okay, guys, did you know that all, not some, all of the ball python money that ever went to Africa was done by Western Union?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? The market we're looking at now? Unbelievable. I'm going to call you anybody that's been doing this for less time than me and this dude in the UK right here, a noob. I'm sorry. I just insulted most of everybody in the reptile hobby, you know, at this point, because most of us that are as long as me and you are just like fucking so shell shocked we're gone. But today we have 49,441 ball pythons in North America, US and Canada. And honestly, here, we'll go do a US. Somebody was like, bro, you got a US only number, bro. You fucking shit up. You use another number. 47,527, which was the US and Canada number a couple days ago. Was predicated on a bunch of West African people catching a snake that they would normally ritualize and shipping it to white people of America, right? By way of an internet cafe, a flip cam, and Western Union.
Yeah.
Thus, a market is born. Look at that fucking market.
Crazy.
Look at that fucking market, bro.
That's
Too
one
much?
guy. That's one guy who missed from the hobby, though. Ralph. Remember those birthing records he used to do?
Fucking right. He got me to start doing them.
You check
To the
them
point-
every day. I'd be checking that thing, waiting
Fucking
for.
right. You'd be like, oh, dude, he updated. Oh, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
Shit, I talked about it before, too. I remember the day he called me to tell me, dude, go on King Snake and see what Graziani did mixing those ugly cinnamon things with pastels. It's crazy. It's fucking silver, bro. It's fucking silver. And I'm like, no way. And I got him back the day he was fishing. Dude, he was pissed because he quit fishing to go home and look at it. The day he was fishing, and I told him his most favoritist people in the world, who actually were some of my most, and still are. I got a shipment of supplies from TSK Supply on the way here now.
Yeah.
From the Dan and Colette Sutherland.
Great people.
When they hatched the when they hatched the ivory from the Morton Wright lemon belly.
Yeah.
What was that? What's that? What's a Morton Wright lemon belly? A yellow belly. Yep. A Morton Wright lemon belly is a yellow belly. And that was the very first yellow bellies, but he wasn't always the first one to make them. You know, it's ironic that they sold Corey the Red Axanthic project before it proved out to a super. And then they bought Morton's project of yellow bellies before it proved out to the ultimate white snake that everyone was searching for. Guys, Pete Call paid over $100,000 for a wild caught female ivory that never laid eggs until yellow bellies were $500. Those were the days. And he did it with Western fucking Union. So yeah, I don't think people understood that. So do you like, I think with Dave Kaufman's video, I think it was good, but I think what they were looking for needs to be done only by Stefan.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to poach him before me because you listen to this podcast, that's fine, but I think we'll do it better.
He's been out
probably the only person that ever made fun of him openly in front of people and shit. And,
you remember a guy called Ron Crawford? No, he was ball pythons back in the day.
Ron Crawford, yeah, he was kind of
a
fatter faced, round faced guy, if I remember right.
He had a DVD by Steve Gorzula, which was ball pythons in the wild, and it was a bunch of trappers basically just going around turning.
See, that would be amazing. Now
I've got it. I'll send you the link.
You do?
I've uploaded it to my OneDrive, so I can send.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Basically, people digging a bunch of holes and pulling big female ball pythons out of the ground.
Shit, that sounds amazing. I'm sure these people would like to watch that. But I think Stefan's got a real thing to say. You know, I think he's been to Africa over 50
People out
times.
there,
Yeah, he's been there more than anybody. You know, I mean, and it'll just be a little bit with the accent.
Do you ever see the video of when he went to fucking before Mike Lehman took over? It was Bill Brandt's place.
Yeah, I think so. A few years ago when Mike took over in like 2018 or whenever that was, 2017, 18.
Can you imagine starting something in reptiles that ends up that large, the gourmet rodent? That is just fucking
That's
huge.
what I was saying, man. When he told me that when we were talking about peen snipping the other night, did you catch that at all? We were talking about where people we went through the time where people were actually damaging the hemipenes on male ball python morphs and sending them out like that before people actually started looking and popping them and actually inspecting their junk. You know, before they bought it, people were actually using like clippers or whatever and actually defacing the male so that he would grow up and pop and everything, but he'd never be a functional breeder really. And when Bill Brandt said he wanted to come to my collection, I was honored, but I tried to talk him out of it because it was a fucking 12-hour drive for him in Marcia. But they said, oh, we'd love to come to Louisiana and eat some food and, you know, see your place and talk to you. And I'm like, would you please be honest with me and tell me exactly why you really want to drive 12 hours to do an exchange? It should be FedExed. And he's like, honestly, bro, I'm coming to look at the peens.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going to pop them in front of me and I'm not taking them if I don't like them. And I'm like, bro, there's 35 bananas here, Bill. We can look through them all fucking day until we find the ones you like. I was like, I'm getting in the hot. Dude, he hatched a super gravel and he hatched 3 of them. He put the best one up. Immediately, it went viral. Immediately, it went on World of Ball Pythons. And he hit me up for Coral Glow bananas because I was one of the only guys that would sell him spiders and pinstripes when they were high end because everybody was worried about him wrecking the market. He's like, y'all are going to wreck the market. I'm just going to follow you and sell them to pet stores.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have an army. By the time you guys wreck it, I'm going to be the one filling the Petco shelves with it. And that's exactly what they did.
That's the long-term game plan, isn't it? You know, everything.
Yeah, that's it. People were like, oh, you can't sell a spider to Bill Brandt. He called me up and he said, how much you want for a spider? And I was like, 15 grand. He said, I'll give you 12. And I was like, yes. That year, I was like, yes, I was nobody, you know, I was a nobody. But my buddy that was breeding stuff with me would do a lot of rodent business with Bill. And he talked to him and he was like, look, dude, this guy hatched some spiders and he won't do you wrong and you'll get a good deal and you'll get a good animal. And he won't give you bullshit because he's a store owner and he understands. He was actually my rodent supplier for many years. So not gourmet, but the guy that put us together, you know, and that was pretty cool. And so when he wanted to buy Coral Glows the year they were, you know, bananas and Coral Glows the year they were 20 grand, he hit me up and he's like, how you doing on Coral Glows? I saw you got hurt this year. I figured you could use the business. And I'm like, wow, I really could, even though the industry got together for me. It's never enough for an injury like that. So it's just like, yeah, sure, man. I mean, I'll absolutely, you know, do it and, you know, and do the trade. And he said, yeah, but I'm going to come pick them up. And I'm like, well, that's kind of fucking weird. It's a highway and a super gravel. Ship them. And he was like, okay, I'll bring you a female super gravel. I was like, well, what's the sex on the 3 that hatched? He said, they're all females. And I said, oh, that means the one that you put everywhere is a female? He said, yeah. And I was like, which one of these bananas that I have up for 25 to 30 grand do you like the most? And he said, oh, I love that banana Mojave fluff, whatever that is, which is red gene. I love that thing. And he had so much color. And he's like, but your price is just too much. And I was just like, how about this? You bring me the one that went everywhere and you can have that. And he's like, done deal, businessman. Bill Brandt's like, dude, I know. You know what I told him? The same thing I told Brian Barchak when we bought that badass super blade or blade clown from him that went viral as well. I said, it's going to go in your facility. It's going to sit in a rack and nobody's ever going to see it. I'm going to take pictures of it. I'm going to have it on the front stage and everybody in the fucking world is going to see it. And you know what? That's what we did with that clown. That's what, you know, and it's what we do with stuff. You just fucking blow that shit out, blow that shit up. So, yeah, brother. I mean, fuck. The market has come to a weird spot. I wish Bloods looked anywhere like this. Before we sign off, I'm going to go look at the blood market.
Have you seen him? Have you seen Juggernaut stuff, Elijah?
No, I haven't looked because if I look, it's.
Oh man!
Give me a morph. What's the morph name? You got any morph names to throw up?
It's called a Phantom, and it's a golden eye mixed with a Toba blood. You remember the Toba?
Jesus Christ, I'm
EPI.
probably not even going to find that on here. Nope. Probably not. What's his name?
Elijah Armas, Juggernaut Reptiles.
Oh, he's got an Instagram because that's the place, right?
I think he's got an Instagram. Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. We're going to see Juggernaut Reptiles. Yeah, you go. Elijah. Whew.
There you go. Top right. That's a phantom.
That right there.
Mixed with a golden eye, I think.
What is it?
A Toba blood.
What is it? Toba? Oh, yeah. Toba and Goldeneye.
Toba
I've got
mixed with
Goldeneye. I've got Goldeneye and I've got Slackline too.
Slackline's cool.
I like Slack. It's just super variable, though. It's hard to sell. Very hard to sell. Fuck is that? Oh, that's a Candoya.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Cool. Those
Candoya.
Ballsh eyes.
Those are fucking cool, but fuck that.
Yeah.
That's the Euromastics of snakes, bro. Fucking another quirky motherfucker.
Starting babies on lizards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that pied.
Yeah, pied's ridiculous. What's the market on pied stuff?
You're looking at 15 grand, I think, for a visual.
Man, that's so nice.
No hats have been sold yet, and no one's posted any photos.
I was gonna say there's none on Morph Market. It's like the albino Brazilian thing. As soon as it hits the ground, it fucking runs away.
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous, though. That piebald's bad to the bone.
Tim Bailey's got pied, I think.
Oh, does he? He got some pieds. Well, he's got, and that dude, that's like, that's 3 miles from me, right? That's like right here.
Yeah.
Like
see the head on that pied there? The head looks exactly like a black eye. Like
yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. That's neat. Bailey's got pieds. He's got wrought irons. He's got all that shit. He's all over blood. Yeah. He's all over blood, which is cool. I mean, that's cool. He got in it with me, and yeah. Wow, look at that. That's pretty dope. That's pretty insane shit. Nemesis. Toba Goldeneye Batik. What's Toba look like by itself?
It's kind of a muddy, red looking.
I ain't on here either. What the fuck's going on with the world of Morph Market and Bloods?
Nobody's selling Tobas, man. Nobody.
They just sell as soon as they come up.
I seen a T. I went to Arlington a few years ago when I was with Tracy all day, and I seen a T positive albino Toba on her table, and that version of it is fucking incredible.
Really?
Version. The actual Toba itself is kind of a dull snake,
Well, dude, you remember blood? You remember old Kara Glasgow, Nerd's old squeeze?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to devalue her or anything. She's still in the hobby and she's still
Kara's a friend. Yeah, she's.
I'm not trying to devalue her at all. She's awesome. She's always.
She does lime bred red, just normal red blood pythons, like banker type looking ones.
Yeah, I'm sure her banker lines are stupid.
Off the charts, man.
Yeah, I'm sure they're ridiculous.
Even just a normal blood python, a really red one is a really impressive looking snake,
Yeah. Kara's had years working on that, though,
Yeah.
She call herself now?
Norris. She married Ryan.
Yeah, Norris. Yeah, that's right.
He was another blood guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Forgot about Norris. Yeah, I don't know if she even pop up on here. Nope. I have to look her up some other time. Yeah, she did a lot with it. She helped out a lot. She helped the hobby out a little bit with that blood pipe. What is that? 9 out of 10 reptile women prefer girth over length. Yeah, that was the t-shirt. 9 out of 10 reptile women prefer girth over length. That was fucking amazing. Yeah. Well, there we go back to this. Forward said, I lost my entire collection just before Christmas last year, 127 ball pythons. Yeah, this guy knows about some stuff that I don't know about. And having said that, we can tie this evening up so that you can get back to your family and go to bed because it's what, 2 a.m.?
1 a.m. here now.
1 a.m. Yeah, and it's 8 o'clock here. And I think 2 hours and 23 minutes is enough of me and this dude. We didn't cut up nearly as badly as I thought we might, which is good. Our PR is still intact. I mean, we did throw a couple shots, but I don't think they weren't outside the realm of truth. And and so I don't think it was necessarily. That's another thing I kind of like about this platform alive. I think we can talk objectively and responsibly about some travesties that go on, and I think it needs to be done. So I'm not going to just like shut the fuck up all the time. I'm not always going to say what you guys want me to hear. I'm not always going to bring on the yes man. It's not always.
Oh, it's got to be real. You know, nobody wants a fucking puppet up here or a robot. You know.
The blood cell. Who's that? Is that Kara? The blood.
That's Kara. Yeah.
That's Kara. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kara. See, there we go with albino. One of us, one of us is turning her on. One of us is way turning her off. That's all that ends up being with a name like that, right? One of them is like, oh yeah, and another one is like, fuck you, yeah. Right? I mean, that's it. It's like when a girl could look. Trust me, Graham, because Graham's pretty easy, right? Like Graham Cracker. We're all pretty used to Graham.
Yeah,
bro. My name is SEAN. Okay, I judge a girl that comes up to me and reads a name tag on my shirt at a reptile show and says "scene."
Yeah.
Right. Like she's automatically like, go away.
Yeah.
Go away. Even if she's fine as fuck. Go away. Go away. Yeah. You know, and she says it right. And then she's like, oh, I like the way you spell your name. That's the real way to spell it. And I'm like, oh, damn. Oh, look at that. Oh. Yeah. I'm like, oh, look at that. Oh. Yeah, exactly. So, yes, indeed. Kara, we love you. Even though we don't know how to say your fucking name the way you want it. I'd like to have her on the show one day. It would be fun to have her on about Bloods. Because I would like to help Bloods. Who else is in Bloods? Is the kid out of Bloods now? What's his name? Steve Sillis. Yeah, is he out?
I'm not sure. I think he's doing like a master's degree or some.
Yeah, he was all academia, like Justin and Nick.
Nick Battini. You want to get Nick Battini's a good.
Nick Bettini,
Blooded Earth.
McPeak's still doing it.
Keith McPeak is no longer doing Bloods now, but he's a good
he's
friend.
Not?
No.
Balls?
He pioneered Bloods, really, you know.
Yeah, he did, but where'd he go? Balls?
He's still around. He's got Boland's Pythons.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's doing like he's ascended, right? He's gone from Tag Heuer to Rolex. He's ascended.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there. He's there now. He's playing golf. He's no longer at the tennis club. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm on the golf course, bro, where the men live. Let me know how the tennis goes today.
That's a guy who's bred some shit, man, and learned things. And
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't believe when Keith would go to a show with blood pythons, people would trip balls because they would be in the acrylic boxes with a 1/4 inch of water in every cell.
Yeah.
Every cell had a 1/4 inch of water sitting in it.
Yeah.
Imagine cleaning that display up at the end of the show.
Oh, man.
Motherfucker. Polishing those cases out every time. Fuck you.
When a blood python takes a pee.
Oh, God. When it stress pisses at a show. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but think about just having to dump out all the water out of all the displays. You ever wash those displays? As soon as you tip them, the water runs through the channel at the acrylic slides in and out.
Sloshing everywhere.
Yeah, and then you got to dry it and polish it, or else it's got water spots and stains all over it. And yet Keith rocking with his cock, you know, rock out with your cock out, fucking Daytona with all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, dude. Well, thanks for doing the show, Graham. Appreciate it, man.
Everybody, you're welcome, man. I really enjoyed it.
Good one. Yeah, I think we had fun. Truth and Honesty 4S says I think it's good. Raven said thank you for a great show. That's wonderful.
Well, you're welcome, Raven.
When you think, there we go. When I hear albino, I think of Mr. Bean. Right? When I hear albino, I think of Mr. Bean. Right, like that. I got it right. That's not as good as my Wayne Hill impression, or is it better? I'm not really sure.
Wayne Hill impression.
My Wayne Hill impression is pretty goddamn good. And it, like I said, it's going to definitely get me disinvited from Daytona forever.
Yeah.
You got to know him. You got to know him. So, yeah, thanks a lot, bro. You're an awesome
Anytime,
dude.
man. Appreciate it.
Just a brief second to dial out, and I want to get a couple minutes with you on the back end of it. And
sure, dude.
Yeah, but thanks a lot, bro. It's good having you. You have a good night. All right. Well, now that he is back in the green room from just a minute, I'm not going to keep him waiting since it's fucking 1 a.m. over there in the bloody UK. And so we can definitely give up on this interview tonight. And, you know, this time I abruptly ended it. So, you know, who knows? Yeah, you're welcome, Croft. Absolutely. 4S's. I try to be as old school as possible, dude. You can hear a part 2, bro. I can hear a part 4. I don't know about you. I could hear this dude on Ballshit After Dark with me, you know, cutting it up.
Welcome
and
to Ballshit.
just appreciating the ambiance, right?
With your host,
both of us, right? Not even Sean Bradley, with your host, Graham and Sean, where we're going to cut down 30 years of reptiles for you in a couple of hours. This was a lot of fun. This was 62 years of culminated experience with two motherfuckers that have been, at times, extremely salty in public. I don't know if you know about Graham, but Graham has said his opinions. Please, please go follow this man. Give him some strength because he's going to need it in his resurfacing of his life. So with reptiles. So please go and hit him up on Instagram. I think Graham Battison. Yep. It's Batty G123, BATTYG, the number 123. It's mostly family posts and stuff like that, but I guarantee you when he's back to slinging snakes hardcore, he's going to be putting them out there very, very heavily. Check him out at, bring him back real quick, bro. Sorry. Constrictors Northwest or Northwest Constrictors? I'm sorry.
Northwest Constrictors
Northwest
UK.
Constrictors UK. Yeah, I fucking can't ever get him straight. They both sound equally as cool. So how many times did you double check yourself when you had business cards and something else made to be sure you put the right word first? Because I would get confused myself.
There was a guy in the States called Constrictors Northwest. So
that's right. There was.
Changed it around and stuck the UK on the end.
There you go. It's as original as Blackheart Exotics out there. We got a few of you original motherfuckers. Hey, look, I ripped off Exotics by Nature from the Nature Company. We were walking from East Bay Vivarium in Berkeley, still one of those stores in America. We were walking from East Bay back to my girlfriend's apartment, and I spotted a standalone Nature Company, and it had a giant sign across the front that said The Nature Company. And I just thought, the Exotics by Nature Company.
Yeah.
They can't sue me, and nobody else is even fucking close.
No.
So thank you, bro. Appreciate it again. Didn't want to fuck up the business name. It's all over the banner and everything for the show. I'm out of here, guys. I love you all. For those of you that leave negative comments, guess what? I fucking love you too. Keep giving me the feedback, okay? I'll be back for another one another time. What do we got this Tuesday? I don't think anything's going to be Friday. I got a reptile show I got to drive to, and we might just do some impromptu shit. So stay tuned for Friday. Good night, guys.